the magician in the world of Doraemon. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 551. Your island has been requisitioned. Look at me carefully, you two. I'm not a ghost. The voice of Izuki suddenly appeared in their sea of consciousness. Hearing this voice, the two were stunned for a moment. Is it Izuki, classmate? Why does his voice appear here? Immediately, they had a terrible guess. Did Izuki, classmate, come here to swim and drown, and then came to take us down with him? Help. The two of them immediately rushed through the woods like a wild boar, just to get away from Izuki's shadow. Alas, there is really nothing we can do about them. Zyadishan released his mental power and directly brought them in front of him. You two be quiet, I have something to ask you now. Nobita and Doraemon hugged each other tightly, their faces turned blue. Ask if you have something to ask, don't take us away, okay? Oh, forget it, I'm too lazy to explain to you. Izuki touched his forehead. He had no way to deal with the reactions of these two guys, but there was nothing he could do. This was also normal for them. Now he looked not much different from a ghost. It was too troublesome to explain, so he decided to ask for the key information first. Did you two build this Zangbar Island? Yes, the real Zangbar Island is the one over there. They turned back and pointed to the Zangbar Island next to them. You went the wrong way. Can you go back quickly? Don't worry, I'll be back in a while. But what did you use to build such a big island? It can't be dug up and filled, right? How is that possible? I'm the crystallization of technology in the future world. Of course there are faster and more effective methods. Speaking of this, Doraemon instantly became proud. With my model machine, you only need to take a photo to perfectly copy an object and make a model. We use this camera to take a photo of Zangbar Island before, and then use the tens of thousands of model fragments spit out by the model machine to build this island bit by bit. Awesome. Seeing how confident he was, Dekisugi also believed that he built this island, so he turned and left. The range of recovering mental power is 10 kilometers. If he does not enter this range, then his mental power will be wasted. Soon, Izuki came out of the room. Everyone listen. Let's go to the right side of Zangbar Island, where our old friends are. Huh? Old friends? Everyone present was stunned. Which old friend of his would be here? The captain knew that Izuki and Yu and Eiji had the highest status on the ship. Since Izuki had already asked, he had no reason to refuse. Moreover, he believed in the judgment of a superpower. At least the other party had the ability to deal with danger and would not lead them into danger for no reason. I really didn't expect that Nobita and Doraemon would come here. I don't know what they were thinking. Could it be that Nobita was stimulated by Sunya? He recalled the phone call this morning. His intuition told him that the appearance of Nobita and the other two here was related to that conversation. After the boat docked, Izuki jumped off the boat first. Everyone, come down. There is no danger here. Fat Tiger, Sunya, Shizuka and Kusanagi also walked down the stairs one after another. Where is the old acquaintance you mentioned? How come we didn't see him? Izuki used his mental power to lift them out of the woods next to him. Look, isn't he here? What? It's you two? Everyone present was surprised. Why did Nobita and Doraemon appear here? How did they get here? Shizuka was the first to react and walked over to help them up. Nobita, Doraemon, what's going on? Sunya was unhappy. His limelight was stolen again. Since yesterday afternoon, he, who should have been the protagonist of this trip, has a very low sense of existence. It's really unfair. It's because Sunya called us this morning to show off his villa trip, and we were so angry that we made this thing. Nobita and Doraemon touched their heads embarrassedly. They built an island because of a momentary anger. They are probably the only ones who can be so willful, right? Dekisugi shook his head helplessly. Sure enough, the process was almost the same as he guessed. Nobita was still as childish as before. But Nobita suddenly looked at Doraemon. Dekisugi, we just encountered a water ball that looks very similar to you. It's not that it looks very similar to me. The water ball you met is me. I'm a telekineticist, and I use that water ball to explore the situation on the island. Awesome. So you are also a superpower like Gian? Nobita's eyes were instantly filled with something called hope. If Gian and Dazi really can't make a breakthrough, can we ask Dekisugi for help? But he seemed unhappy to give in to his rival in love. Doraemon muttered in an unhappy tone, "TSK, are you not satisfied with having me, the crystallization of technology?" After hearing what Nobita said, Zyadishan was a little surprised. "So you and Dazi has told you? But I'm really embarrassed to have kept it a secret from you for so long. No, we should apologize. Because of some misunderstandings, we also hurt King Gyu." The two of them remembered King Gyu, who was bullied by the reversal bomb last time. Until now, he still has lingering fears when he thinks back to the last experience. It is too dangerous. If even one of the three people on the other side really has murderous intentions towards them, then it is very likely that both of them will die in that house. Whether it is King Gyu, Yu and Azuki, or even Ziozi, they can prevent him from using the props. Since he told you, it means that there is no need to keep it secret. Zyadishan also breathed a sigh of relief. "I don't have to erase your memories one by one. It's great." Everyone silently took a step back. So they kept the secret in this way before. Too scary. Since everyone is here, why don't you come to our island? We have made a lot of good things. What is that? Next to everyone, a black hole slowly emerged, and everyone present became nervous. Could it be an enemy? However, Izuku's originally tense nerves relaxed. Every time Yu and Dazi appeared, he acted like a villain. The black fog slowly dissipated, revealing the figure of Yu and Azuki. After taking a look at the surrounding situation, he happily greeted everyone. "Hey, everyone is here. It seems that you have returned to the island safely?" "Yes, something unexpected happened." Izuki pointed to Nobita and the others. "They built a new island, and we are on their island now." "How did you build this? Did you use a puzzle to put it together?" Yu and Dazi said half jokingly. Unexpectedly, everyone present gave him a thumbs up. "You are worthy of being a superpower. You really can predict the future." Yu and Azuki. "Didn't I just say it casually? How did it come true? Wait, I seem to have a real impression of this plot." Yu and Azuki immediately looked at Nobita and Doraemon. "By the way, is there a house on the island you built? The same kind as the original villa?" "Yes, there is. The model can perfectly replicate everything except living things." Doraemon nodded. "But what do you want that thing for?" After listening to Doraemon's words, a bold plan began to take shape rapidly in his mind. This time it was simply God's help. Nothing. Yu and as he put his arm around Doraemon's neck, "It's just that your island has been requisitioned by me. I believe you have no objection, right?" After speaking, he put more force on his hands, and Doraemon felt that he could no longer breathe. Chapter 552 Stalemate. As night fell, the blood god, who looked like a 14 or 15-year-old girl, slowly emerged from the bottom of the sea and looked towards the location of Yu and Dazuki. "The child who came down today was sucked by me, and he should have no fighting power for a while. It's a pity that I'm not capable enough to transform him into a follower, alas." After standing there for a while, she suddenly looked at the location of the real Zangba Island. There seems to be a strong spiritual energy in that direction. It's worth a look. As soon as the voice fell, her body suddenly exploded, turning into flying bats and moving quickly in that direction. A few minutes later, the bats stopped not far from Zangba Island and condensed into the appearance of the blood god again on the sea. There are actually two identical islands? There must be something fishy. She closed her eyes, but it's useless to do this, because the factor guiding me is not sight. When she closed her eyes, the surrounding scenery disappeared, and only two groups of fog without outlines remained in the sea of consciousness, but with different concentrations. There are many creatures on the island on the left, and the concentration of spiritual energy is also very high. There is nothing on the island on the right except magic patterns. Such a simple trap. Do you take me for a fool? When she opened her eyes again, she had already figured it out in her mind and spread her wings to fly towards Zangba Island on the left, aiming for the spiritual medicine that can help Lord Sun God recover. When she arrived above Zangba Island, she did not enter directly. After all, this was the enemy's territory, and it was better to be careful. There are indeed many creatures below, and the number of humans is not small. and there is no fluctuation of magic patterns, so it should be safe for now. After confirming the safety below again, the blood god descended from the sky and landed directly on the place with the most concentrated spiritual energy on Zangba Island. It's here. I can already feel the warmth in my soul. It's so beautiful. She opened her eyes and looked at the rebirth grass not far away. Do you know the name of this grass? Rebirth grass, a top grade medicine for healing injuries. Chumushin, who was sitting next to him, stood up and looked at this woman who was a little older than him with full concentration. It was this girl who made Yu and Dazi suffer a great loss. Although there was an element of sneak attack, he had to go all out. You can't use this grass for the time being, so why not give it to me? Although I'm not interested in it, my master needs it very much now. You shouldn't refuse it, right? The blood god has been facing away from Chumushin, but the sonar has been on alert. She actually doesn't have much hope. It is impossible to give away such a thing that can save a life. Who knows if she will be in danger in the future. Don't say such words to coax a child. Although I'm a child. Chumushin summoned the Restless and gang. If you want to take the thing, you can use your own strength to make me bow my head. And Gang Deo has been restless since the blood god approached. Vampires are also ghosts, so naturally they are under its control. TSK, is it really going to develop like this? Then from now on, please be prepared to be killed by me. As soon as the voice fell, a burst of black mist suddenly spread from her body, covering half of the island. Bats kept flying through it, looking very creepy. This kind of black fog can only be dispelled by active removal and strong light. He does not have such a large scale magic, and cannot dispel the fog. But Izukashin was not panicked at all. The pattern of the Angang sword in his hand suddenly became brighter, and his aura gradually became sharper. The Angang sword absorbed enough soul power. Izukashin stretched out his hand and slashed forward, soul-breaking slash. The huge silver-white blade wind cut through the night sky, dispelling all the black fog on the road ahead, and screams echoed on the island. What kind of move is this? The blood god quickly removed the fog state. You can actually cause damage to me by chopping the black fog. I should be immune to slashing in this state. Izukashin put away the sword, stood up and looked into her eyes. My soul-breaking slash can. Haha, what's wrong with your mouth? Zyadishin originally wanted to explain it before fighting, but when he saw the face of the blood god, he couldn't help laughing. The blood god stomped his feet on the ground. Damn it, what are you laughing at, you bastard? Believe it or not, I will kill you. Sorry, I know it's wrong for me to laugh out loud in such a serious occasion, but haha. I remembered something happy. Really? You bastard. Are you laughing because you see my mouth? I tell you, if you dare to laugh again, I will kill everyone here today. Zyadishin then forced herself to hold back her laughter. My soul-breaking slash can directly damage the soul, so I can cause damage to you through the slash. Although Zyadishin explained the moves, the blood god didn't care about this at all. She cared more about her mouth, that had turned into a sausage. The angry blood god rushed towards Chumushin with her little umbrella. This guy actually saw her ugly appearance, so she must destroy him completely. Ding. The sword blade and the umbrella collided with each other, making a sound of metal intersecting. The power transmitted from the umbrella made Chumushin look a little solemn. How is it possible? It's just an umbrella, but its hardness can be comparable to my Horcrux. There must be something strange about this umbrella. Chumushin raised his hand and temporarily lifted the two weapons above, and at the same time, kicked at the floor in her abdomen. Humph, do you think you can hurt me like this? The blood god's reaction speed was also very fast. Before Chumushin's foot touched her, his body turned into countless bats, and fled in all directions. Another dispersion skill? What a trouble. Zyadishin swung her sword, and killed several bats. Although this can cause damage, it is very limited, and the consumption is also very large. The blood god was not in a hurry to hang Chumushin. From the situation just now, this guy is a telekineticist. There are two huge disadvantages of telekineticists. One is that the body of the caster is very fragile, and the other is that their endurance is relatively weak. So now she only needs to keep harassing him next to him, and when his mental power is exhausted, she can fight him. Although Chumushin is constantly killing bats, with her regeneration ability, the damage caused to her by this kind of ordinary slash is shockingly low. Of course, if it is damage from high temperature or soul, then it is a different matter, but Izuku has no way to lock onto her body now. It will only be effective if his soul attacks a large number of bats, but a soul impact with too wide a range will also not cause fatal damage, but will increase the speed of consumption. The situation continued to stalemate, and Yu and Dazi on the puzzle island calculated the time and considered when it would be more appropriate for him to take action. Izuku should have fought with the blood god by now. With his ability, the blood god will feel a certain amount of trouble. If I were her, I would definitely choose to fight and exhaust the opponent's mental power. So now is a good time. Yu and Dazi squatted down and injected his magic power into the magic pattern below, and the complex patterns emerged with light. The first layer of magic pattern on the model's Angler Island suddenly absorbed energy, and a huge light suddenly burst out from the inside of the house. Correspondingly, a faint light also appeared in the house on the real Zangba Island, and then a few people inside disappeared. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 553 The Real Trap. When the people on the island came to their senses, they were still in the same place. It looked the same as before, but there was always a strange feeling. At this time, a housewife pointed at the pot and shouted, "What's going on? Why is the steak I just fried gone?" The drunkard in the room collapsed and covered his head with his hands. "Where is my favorite wine? What happened just now? I must make him pay the price." Similar complaints came one after another, and Yu and Dazi couldn't help but cover his ears. Damn, these guys are so noisy. I'd better find a way to make them quiet down. I'm busy here. After saying that, his tyrannical mental power instantly swept the entire island with the help of the magic pattern amplification, and these residents who moved in lost consciousness under the effect of mental power. They agreed to carve magic patterns onto islands. The magic pattern on one side was not injected with energy, and the space magic pattern on the other side was presided over by Yu and Azuki. First, Izuki-chan held the other side, and when the time was almost up, Yu and Dazi activated the space magic pattern to charge the other island, and then brought all the people on the island over. In this way, the two of them can fight to their heart's content on Zangba Island without worrying about affecting ordinary people. Very good. After confirming that everyone has arrived safely, I can almost go over to join the battle. Yu and Dazi stood up and stretched his shoulders. I have almost replenished the blood and ki I lost, and the bite wound has healed. As long as the blood and ki are sufficient, the wound will heal quickly. After that, he took off from the center of the island and rushed directly to where Demishan was. At this time, the blood god had restored his true form. You have lost half of your mental power, and your speed and strength have declined. What can you use to fight me? Demishan was struggling to defend herself. This guy had given up the umbrella and used his claws, which he was more proficient in, to fight in close combat. Demishan didn't have the ability to actively distance herself, so she could only fight her head on here. Not long after, Demishan seized an opportunity and hit her in the abdomen with a knee. But the blood god didn't choose to disperse directly in the face of Demishan's attack, but because she knew very well that the power of this move would not hurt her. Sure enough, Zyashin's knee only knocked her back a few dozen meters, and the soul power failed to reach her body and destroy her body. But Chumashin used this attack to distance himself, and then sank his spiritual power into the ground, the rhythm of the earth. Countless spikes suddenly emerged from the ground, completely blocking the blood god's retreat, trying to hurt her. And the blood god did hit Chumashin's trap as he planned, and the sharp earth spikes pierced from the back and came out from the front chest, and the spikes were stained with black blood. Great, she was finally injured. Chumashin also breathed a sigh of relief, but his spirit did not relax. But this injury doesn't seem to be fatal to her. Sure enough, although the spikes pierced her heart, she walked out with her hands supporting the ground, as if nothing had happened. Your trick is good, at least I feel quite painful. But my body structure has far surpassed that of humans, and this kind of injury has little effect on me. As she spoke, the hole in her chest began to heal rapidly, and the granulation tissue continued to extend, trying to fill the hole. Xiaoshan tightened her grip on Ngang again. This god tribe was indeed more difficult to deal with than the previous encounter with Manison. Don't worry, I will make you my follower, and then torture you well, little brother. Of course, as long as you can find time to cure your sausage mouth first, I may consider following you. Looking at the almost eternal smile on Chumashan's face, she was furious. Asshole, you dare to mention this matter. Lululu, come and kill me. Chumashan didn't care about the other party's impotent rage at all, just made a face at her, and kept mocking the other party's wound. Asshole, I'm really angry. The blood god's eyes changed instantly. No one can save you today. I will definitely beat you into a paste. While speaking, the umbrella in his hand suddenly stretched out, and the umbrella surface rotated and wrapped around the umbrella handle, turning into a spear. Absorb my blood as much as you can, and give the other party death. Several sharp spikes emerged from the umbrella handle, and pierced her hand, which made Chumashan next to him look painful. Although the process was a bit cruel, the benefits she gained were equally frighteningly high. After absorbing the blood of the master, the power of the spear fed back to the master greatly improved her physical fitness. The blood god exerted force under his feet and rushed towards Dekisugi at a speed far faster than a bullet. I will cut you into a human pig first. Sparta. A meteor fell from the sky, hitting the blood god with an improper roar, and even the whole island trembled. It seems that my support this time is very timely. The timing is just right. Yu and as he stepped on her hard, supergravity, physical sublimation and explosive impact are simply a meteor. While speaking, Yu and as he twisted her head off. You are worthy of being a vampire. You are not even like this. Ha ha ha. What's wrong with your mouth? I wanted to taunt her, but when Yu and as he saw her face, he laughed out loud. The damage caused by magic fire cannot be easily healed. I will kill you. Although only a head was left, her temper became even worse. It turned out that my blood burned you. I can't help it. Who told me I'm a passionate young man? Flames appeared on Yu and Daz's hands, ready to finish her off completely at this moment. He is a decent person, and it is the habit of those big villains to never finish off the enemy. Seeing that the situation was not good, the blood god immediately turned into a black mist, and the body below also shattered at the same time. This guy's different from the telekinetic master. If he turned into a bat, he would definitely have a way to kill her, so the black mist is the safest. Anyway, if she is attacked by them in the black mist state, she will only be injured at most. If she wants to be fatal, she must destroy all the black mist that stretches for miles in an instant, but this will take a certain amount of time. As long as she is within the range of the black mist, she can condense her body at any point, and can successfully stay away from these two people and their killing moves. After she regroups in the distance, she can use the bat to escape, and then consider finding some herbs with average effects again, and it will be safe. Oh, is it finally turning into the shape of black fog? Yu and Dazi suddenly smiled. I thought the backup plan we arranged on this island would no longer be used. What? What did you do to this island? Why didn't I feel it? The blood god immediately felt something was wrong. If you had noticed that there was a trap here, would you still come in? Yu and Dazi put his hand on the ground, and a magic pattern suddenly emerged from the ground. Because I didn't inject magic power that can be activated into the magic pattern here, its concealment is stronger than that of ordinary magic patterns, but it takes a lot of power to activate it. As he spoke, pure magic power flowed from his hand into the ground, and the originally dull and lifeless pattern suddenly glowed with vitality, and the destructive power contained in it made everyone feel extremely shocked. Chapter 554 Small Mushroom Cloud. If this magic pattern is activated, I will really die. After a few tenths of a second of mental struggle, the blood god made up his mind to fight to the death. Since you won't let me live, let's see who dies first. Behind Yu and Azuki, a small piece of black mist gathered and condensed into the upper body of the girl, and opened its mouth to bite Yu and Az's neck. But at this moment, a pure white sword pierced her chin. Don't treat me as if I don't exist. After all, we are at the same level. Damn it. She looked at Chumashan next to her in astonishment. She actually ignored this child. Because her attention was all on the life and death crisis in front of her, she ignored this equally dangerous target. Damn it. In the half second she was stunned, the magic pattern on the ground was successfully activated, and Yu and Dazi immediately grabbed Chumushin and flew upwards. No, I have to leave here too. The blood god, who noticed their intentions, also wanted to leave, but the movement speed in the atomized state was too slow. At this time, Yu and Dazi's voice came from the sky. When I fought with you before, I already found the shortcomings of your ability. The range of your body, after atomizing, is very large, and you can move your body anywhere. But your biggest problem is that the Black Fog's mobility is too weak, and it also takes about 1 to 2 seconds for you to condense your body in this state. This time our magic patterns are all over the island. You can't get out with your speed, and the time for condensing your body is not enough. So, we use the entire island as a burial object for you, and you can go underground to enjoy this tourist attraction with peace of mind. No. The blood god made his last cry, and the magic patterns on the ground were finally completely activated at this moment. Endless light burst out from the island, and then a mushroom soared into the sky, making the entire sea boil. And as he brought Chumushin to land on another small island, and looked at the island in front of him, we have spent a lot of magic power to watch the fireworks this time. I always feel that it is a loss. Having said that, you don't feel it is a loss at all, do you? Chumushin handed him a bottle engraved with magic patterns. You actually want to see this mushroom cloud in your heart, right? And as he took the small bottle containing the herb of rebirth, and admitted it generously, well, actually I really want to see it. After all, there are few opportunities to make it so big. I knew it. Now the affairs of the God Clan have come to an end for the time being. We still have other tasks to deal with here. Let's get to work. Zyadishin walked to the other end of the island. And as he shrugged and followed him. Yes, although this plan is safe, it also causes a lot of trouble. Now we have to push this island to the original Zangba island. It's really troublesome. If you knew it would be troublesome, you shouldn't do this, brother. King Guy walked out from the corner next to him. He had been waiting here for a long time. In order to prevent the blood god from going to the wrong place, they also needed to deploy a fighting force that was enough to kill her on another island. So they called King Gaiu. Okay, since we have already hit the target, let's get to work. And as he walked to the back and jumped down first. I know, every time I'm called here, it's to do these rough work. King Guy also jumped down. Although he complained, he also knew that everyone was on the same front now, and no one could stay out of it. The power gap between them was too great now, and killing one Protoss was one. Under the strange power of Yu and Dazi and King Gaiu, the model of Zangba Island began to move slowly into the distance, and Chumushin was responsible for adjusting the direction of the island with his mental power. After more than half an hour, they finally pushed the model island to the original Zangba Island, as if nothing had happened. And as he floated up from the sea, this physical work is really not something a human can do. Yeah, it's so tiring. King Guy also lay on the edge of the island, and together with Yu and Dazi, they became two salted fish. Dekisugi walked up to them and said, "We have finished our work here. What about what you promised them?" Yu and Dazi turned over and said, "Don't worry, isn't it just a 3-day trip to Hawaii? You can go there and play around with them, and I will cover all the expenses." This was the condition for him to exchange the island with Doraemon before. If you take someone's things, you naturally have to give him some benefits. For them, asking for something without giving will only make him more entangled in karma, and what you owe to others will sooner or later be returned to you in another form. So in order to cut off the karma, he used things of equal value to Nobita and the others for equal exchange, and there would be no problem. That's fine, you promised it yourself. To be honest, I also want to go to Hawaii. Izuki also showed a yearning expression. I didn't have pocket money before, otherwise I would also like to go around the world. And as he also stood up and wrapped them with the Dark Star cloak. We have seen it before, and we rescued Lee Zinayu and others that time. Does that count? I didn't even take a photo of many places. Zyadishin got angry when he thought of that trip around the world. Every time he wanted to go down and take a look, Yu and as he always thought he was wasting time, and in the end he only traveled to a few world famous places. If you want to really travel around the world, how can you come back in just a few days? It's unrealistic to think about it. The two of them went back to the room noisily, and Nobita and the others had been waiting here for a long time. Yu and classmate, how was the result of your battle? How was it? Of course I won. Yu and as he answered, as if it was a matter of course. If he didn't win, he would be dead. How could he stand here and talk to him? After arguing with everyone for a few hours, Yu and as I finally lay down on the bed. It's really tiring today, but we have a good harvest. The rebirth grass is a rare treasure for them, since they got it in one trip, plus a 3-day trip to Hawaii. This deal is not a loss. Old Manling did not force it. He knew that letting him eat the rebirth grass now would only make people suspicious, so it would be better to wait and see. After he fell asleep, Ling Feng went to find the flame servant in the sky. You also saw the situation here, right? Yes, that little guy's really cruel. It's almost time for me to report to the sun god. Should I tell him about the rebirth grass? Don't tell him. If you tell him, he will probably come to this world again. He is in a very bad condition now. If he comes, he will definitely die here. Then what are you hesitating about? Prometheus was even more curious. If he had the opportunity to kill the sun god, why didn't he do it? If we kill the sun god, those two guys will choose to revive early, so this is not a wise choice. Facing two such powerful gods at the same time, we will be under greater pressure. The flame servant nodded. Follow your instructions. Chapter 555. Emergency at the back mountain. The next morning, Yu and as he was awakened by a series of urgent knocks on the door. He stood up and rubbed his messy hair and shouted, "Who is it? Why are you knocking on my door so early in the morning?" Yu and as he walked downstairs angrily and looked at Zio-chan in front of him. "You'd better come to me for something serious. Now is not the time to be angry. I just got an urgent message that the back mountain of the school is going to be transformed into a golf course." Yu and as he scratched his ears, "Isn't it just building a golf course? Wait, where did you say it was going to be transformed? The back mountain of the school?" He suddenly realized that the back mountain was not where they raised segmented insects. If the back mountain was transformed, what would happen to those delicious insects? Would they be released into the sky? And who has the ability to deal with those segmented insects? Unless a fully armed army with tanks is sent, who can fight? Are you sure? This news is no joke. He also put away his playful attitude. Is the owner of that house going to transform that mountainous area? Izuku nodded. This ending was not what he wanted to see. He also loved the back mountain of the school. And as he changed his clothes instantly, "I know. I will go to find Kodama Yoshio right now and ask him to help buy that piece of land." "Do you have enough money?" Izuku expressed some concern. "That piece of land should be around 200 million, right? I remember you probably have. Sorry to bother you. That's good to know. And don't worry, the bargaining power of the gangsters is not to be underestimated. They will definitely have a way." And as he didn't care about this. He believed that those big guys were very eloquent and usually convinced people with reason. Isn't it just a price reduction? Maybe they will give him the land out of joy, although he may not want to see this result. "I'll leave first. Don't worry about me. Even if I really have no money, I still have a lot of diamonds." And as he took out a diamond as big as a pigeon egg and shook it in front of him, showing that his powerful money power was far from declining. "Well, I'll wait for your good news here." Chumashin watched and as he leave. "You must come back early. There is news that the president and others are going to look at the land today. Don't worry, I won't joke about human life." He activated the law of space. Now there is no time to take the tram. Before leaving, and as he did not forget to remind him, "By the way, remember to hold them back from entering the bamboo forest in the back mountain, otherwise people will really die." Zayashin nodded, and then quickly moved towards the bamboo forest in the back mountain. He knew very well what monsters were in the back mountain. Moreover, those things were of great significance to and Dazi and others. They were an important source of blood and ki for Dazi and King Gayu. So the purpose of this time, in addition to protecting those humans, is to find a way to protect the segmented insects in the back. Although at this time he can't help but complain that Yu and as he raised such things in the back mountain. Yu and as he quickly teleported to Kodama Yoshio's side according to the mark he left in his office. At this time, the president had not yet come to work. Really, Kodama Yoshio is too unprofessional. It's already 7:30 and he hasn't come to work yet. Why doesn't he learn from the president who wants to be reformed? Yu and as he had to sit on the sofa and prepare to take a rest here and wait for him to come to discuss things. Seeing that there were coffee beans and coffee machines here, Yu and as he walked over by himself and prepared to make a cup of coffee here to enjoy it. Since there is no one here for a while, I don't have to rush. He took a sip of the coffee he made and then spit it out. It's so bitter. I forgot to put milk and sugar. After finally making a perfect cup of coffee, Yu and as he began to enjoy it at his seat. He didn't know when those people would start work. Chumushin walked to the back mountain and released his spiritual power, completely integrating his whole heart into the land. Soon, Chumushin's body gradually turned into soil and scattered all over the mountains and forests. His body and mind were completely integrated with the land. After entering this realm, not only did his spiritual power become more secretive, but it also brought many magical abilities, and this was one of them. When he opened his eyes again, Chumushin was still completely integrated into the back mountain. Every piece of land, every gravel, and every plant was his eye. Even Yu and as he couldn't do this, because his soul couldn't handle such a huge amount of complicated information. Okay, now let's wait for those people to come. Chumushin began to set traps here, just scare them away. He himself was quite resistant to hurting people, and his main purpose was not to hurt them. In order to delay them from going to the bamboo forest, Chumushin specially set up a lot of traps in that area. It should be fine this way. It hurts. He had been relieved, but suddenly there was a sharp pain in his back. What's going on? This feeling is like being pricked by needles? Chumushin cast his eyes towards the back of the mountain. So these big bugs are digging into the ground to build their houses? As the mountain god here, he must empathize with everything here. Any damage to the land will be directly reflected on him. Really, these bugs are too big, right? How did the bugs released by Yu and as he grow? It hurts. Chumushin immediately made the land behind him harder than steel, and the insect found that he could no longer dig the ground. Chumushin then breathed a sigh of relief, and the pain was finally relieved. Although the bugs were still digging the soil desperately, now he only felt an itchy feeling, like being bitten by a mosquito. Next, he only had to wait for Yu and as he to discuss with them to buy the land, and then he could leave. After finally diverting his attention from the bamboo forest, his eyes suddenly saw the garbage on the ground behind the mountain, densely spread on the ground. Really, who is this person who is so uncultured? Chumushin tried to find a way to clean up the ground. When I find him, I must teach him a lesson. The small animals nearby received the call of the mountain god and gradually took action, and began to transport the garbage in the back mountain to a centralized place. Anyway, they are all worthless things, so why not collect them and use them in the end? At this time, Yu and as he had finished his coffee and took out his Gatling gun and sniper rifle. These things are useless to me now. Should I throw them away? But it feels a bit wasteful to throw them away. He touched the Gatling gun with his hand. This heavy machine gun is a man's dream. Because of the bullets, the two guns are now in an unusable state. He is considering the future of these things. Old man Ling, do you have any way to greatly enhance the performance of these two guns? Ling Feng's figure appeared in front of him. Isn't this a product of technology? Why did you suddenly have this idea? Of course it's because I like it. It looks so cool to hold a gun. As he said, Yu and as he raised the Gatling gun to show off. Well, you are the most uncultured person among all the people I have led. Old man Ling nodded helplessly. I do have a way to improve this thing. Yu and as he was instantly happy. He decided to buy some bullets while he was out this time. Maybe the Gatling gun can be used in the future? Of course, being cool is only one aspect. Another important reason is that this thing can work without magic. If he is injured in the future, he can also take out the improved Gatling gun and use it as a fighting force. Give this thing to me temporarily. I will find a way to modify it. Old Manling took over the Gatling gun and the sniper rifle. Yu and Dazzy showed an excited smile. Then I'll leave it to you. Chapter 556. Pile of garbage. What the hell are you doing? Mom picked up Nobita with one hand. You just got up half an hour ago, and you're going back to sleep? Nobita yawned in his mother's hand. He had finished his homework yesterday. What else could he do now, if he didn't go to sleep? Nobita, now you have to go out and play, or you have to review your lessons at home. You can choose between the two options. I know. Faced with two dead ends, Nobita chose to go out and play without hesitation. He didn't want to do his homework. TSK, Mom, what's fun in the morning? Nobita kicked a stone on the side of the road. At this time, the only way is to go to someone else's house to ask for shelter. Speaking of this, Nobita immediately became excited. By the way, I can go find Shizuka. She will definitely accept me. Thinking of the scene with Shizuka, Nobita's feet suddenly became windy, and he ran to Shizuka's house in a flash. But the result made him despair. He saw the aunt standing at the door, smiling and rejecting him. Shizuka has to go visit relatives today, so she can't play with you here today. How could this happen? Nobita had to lower his head and walk to the street with heavy steps. Where can I go now? Sunir is sneering at me, and Fat Tiger will definitely order me to work. Izuki is studying at home, and the magician Io and Eiji. What if he takes me to make medicine? After thinking about it, since no one came out, he had to find a place to sleep. Sleeping. By the way, Nobita snapped his fingers. Since you want to sleep, why don't you go to the 1,000-year-old shirt in the back mountain? Then he became worried again. But what if I encounter those bugs last time? Is it okay, as long as I don't go to that bamboo forest? Nobita suddenly thought that the strange bamboo forest had grown some time ago, and maybe those bugs would only move in the bamboo forest. Yes, that's it. There has been no murder case here for such a long time. It must be because no one has entered the bamboo forest. After thinking it through, Nobita went to the back mountain and found a place with dense flowers and plants to lie down, and an incomparable sense of comfort came over him. Ah, this is how you can enjoy life. Doing homework at home all day long is simply hell. Then he turned over. It's just a little strange. As if someone is watching me here. Is it an illusion? Izuki looked at Nobita through the nearby trees, and a vine stretched out humanely to touch the ground, like a person touching the forehead, and muttering to himself, why is this guy not at home reading comics, but running to the back mountain? But soon he was relieved. Forget it, since he came to the back mountain to rest, let him have a good sleep. Thinking of this, a large number of leaves slowly fell, and covered Nobita with a quilt. Did something fall? Nobita was awakened by the fallen leaves on his body. Why did these leaves fall on me? Is it the mountain god? Zyadishan nodded. If you really want to say it now, he is considered a mountain god, right? Although he is just a proxy. Nobita didn't think too much, just closed his eyes and continued to sleep. Where can I find such a comfortable quilt? Seeing that Nobita fell asleep, Zyadishan commanded the nearby birds, go and look nearby to see if there are a group of people wearing suits. But the birds tilted their heads and looked at the air. They didn't understand what suits were, so naturally they couldn't execute the orders he gave. Sorry, I forgot. Demishan used his mental power to transmit information to the birds, asking them to go and search for the enemy. More than 10 minutes later, Demishan received a reply from the birds. Someone had indeed come over there. Damn, you came so early? Demishan looked at the time. It's only 8:30 now. Why are you so active at work? And as he has been out for nearly an hour, and he hasn't replied yet, so he must have encountered some trouble. And it is very likely that they have encountered trouble with the Enagora Association, because those people can come here now, which means that no one has come to discuss a purchase with them. I don't know how long it will take for the Yu and Dazuki, but now I'd better try to buy time. I hope they can be faster. Not far away, a group of people wearing yellow work hats surrounded a man in a suit and tie, and kept discussing about the contract. Have you decided to transform that mountain area into a golf course? It is connected to the school next to it. Will it cause any bad impact? It's okay. What impact can it cause? The man in the suit waved his hand nonchalantly. When the time comes, it will be fine. If the hole is set on the side away from the school, and this is my territory, I can do whatever I want. Who cares about me? The person in charge nodded. This is also a method. Anyway, they are only responsible for digging the mountain. This time they came to set up a safety line to deploy personnel, and at the same time, specify the work price according to the amount of work. The group walked in from the back mountain entrance on the street, and then they were stunned by the scene in front of them. Garbage piled up at the entrance like a small mountain, and there were bugs and flies crawling on it, which looked very disgusting. What's going on? People these days are too uncultured. It seems that I should have closed the mountain earlier. The president roared helplessly at the mountain forest, and the engineering team behind him also felt nauseous. There were too many garbage and bugs at the entrance, which was a blessing for people with trypophobia. Your engineering team will bring people to clean up the garbage here when the time comes. The president covered his eyes and couldn't bear to watch. Don't worry, I will calculate this part of the wages separately. Remember to clean it up. The group covered their eyes and noses and walked around the garbage pile. Now they can no longer look directly at the mountain and need to slow down. After walking for a while, they finally forgot what they had just seen, and they continued to discuss the price. Based on the area of this mountain, if we want to build a golf course, we have to dig it from here at least. The captain of the engineering team drew a line on the hillside of the back mountain. In other words, we have to dig it from where we are standing now. What do you think? The captain of the engineering team handed the map to the president and estimated the area of the back mountain for him. It is true that half of the mountain needs to be dug before construction can be carried out. The president took a look and found that the area after digging should be larger than that of an ordinary golf course, but after removing the dangerous terrain at the edge, it is indeed about the same. No problem, just dig it from here. Your engineering team will take people to set up construction signs first, and we will go up and take a look. The president returned the map to the captain. By the way, there may be some things on it that need to be paid attention to, and this part needs to be calculated separately. After the captain arranged for the setting of the signs, he followed them to the peak. D-Mushin looked at these people coming up and could only sigh helplessly. The location drawn by the construction team just passes by the residence of the segmented insects. They will definitely go there to set up signs. It seems that it is time for me to act. Chapter 557, Quintero Pillow. Well, if you ask me, this mountain is fine here. Why do you want to transform it into a golf course? A construction team member pointed to the school behind. There are so many students there, and if they come to play golf for no reason, won't it affect their studies? So what? Can you still go on strike here? Do you still want to work? Another team member rolled his eyes at him, stuck the pole in the ground, and pulled up the no entry tape. Don't forget that the people who went on strike last time were all fired, and many people have been unemployed at home. It's really hard to find a job now. The two men walked towards the bamboo forest next to them while talking. At this moment, the person who put the pole before suddenly stepped on empty air and fell into a hole. I say, the boss is really obsessed with money. Sooner or later. Mr. Yamada, where are you? You know I'm a coward. He looked at the empty grass nearby and panicked instantly. How could a living person disappear for so long? Help, there is a ghost on this mountain. Mr. Yamada is missing. Help. After standing there for a few seconds, there was one less atheist in the world. Seeing that he was going in the direction of return, Izuki released Yamada from the underground hole and waited for all the team members to come back and move him. This situation was also happening in other places. Some people disappeared inexplicably while walking, which made the people around them feel extremely terrified. Seeing that most of the construction team members gathered together in panic and did not dare to move, Izuki breathed a sigh of relief. Time has been delayed. Now we just need to wait for the news of Yuya and Daisuke. Speaking of which, according to their route, it seems that they will meet Nobita, right? Zayanishin said to himself, while looking at the president who was still going up the mountain. At this time, Nobita was still sleeping soundly under Izuki's care, and he didn't realize that someone had walked towards him. The trees here are very dense, so the soil is very compact. We need to send some large equipment. The leader of the construction team detected the soil and recorded the situation, and those trees can't be cut down casually, they have to be planted. Wait, there seems to be a child over there? The leader suddenly pointed to Nobita on the ground. Why is this child sleeping here? It's daytime, and it's morning. Yes, this is my private territory. Who allowed him to come in privately? It seems that, if I don't set up a sign, they really think this is a joint work site. The president was angry at the time, and walked towards Nobita with the design drawing. Wake up, you little brat. The president hit Nobita's head roughly with the design drawing. This is my territory, why don't you get out quickly? Ah. How did my Shizuka become an uncle? It turned out to be an uncle. I was scared. Nobita dreamed that Shizuka and he were on a picnic. At this time, Shizuka suddenly turned into a middle-aged uncle, and he almost died of myocardial infarction on the spot. If Shizuka really became like that, he would definitely find a piece of tofu to kill himself. What's the point of living in this world? Little brat, you still dare to ask me what I do? The uncle was almost angry to the point of exploding. This mountain is mine. Why don't you get out of here? I know. Really? Nobita slowly got up from the ground. Today I just want to take a nap in the morning. Why can't I sleep anywhere? Let's just go home. While complaining about his bad luck today, Nobita staggered towards his home. He was still a little confused. The president was even more upset when he saw his indifferent look. Obviously this is his territory, and he doesn't care about your illegal entry, because you are a child. Forget it, I don't care about you. The president looked at the captain of the engineering team next to him. We have almost learned about the terrain here. What is the approximate price? The two bargained on the mountain, and Nobita yawned and walked back to his room to continue sleeping. Doraemon couldn't stand seeing him so listless in the morning, so he put down the comic in his hand and began to scold him. Nobita, why are you so listless in the morning? Who knew that? Nobita turned over and didn't want to pay attention to Doraemon at all. I don't know why he just wanted to sleep this morning. Finally, Doraemon, who couldn't bear it anymore, could only take out a pillow from his pocket and put it under Nobita's head. Anyway, you have nothing to do today, why not use your sleeping time? The blue fat man put his hands in his pockets. It just so happens that my mother's diamond ring is missing today, so think about how to find it. I want to find my mother's diamond ring. He heard the words find a diamond ring in a daze, and after repeating it unconsciously on the pillow, there was no sound anymore. And the words 5 minutes suddenly appeared on the pillow under Nobita's head, and the countdown kept flashing. TSK, it actually takes 5 minutes. Doraemon sat down with his hands folded. I don't know if he is too stupid, or the question I asked is too difficult. Time passed by minute, and after 5 minutes, Nobita suddenly woke up and sat up, a flash of inspiration. If you want to find a diamond ring, just put a shiny object in the courtyard and wait for a few minutes to know the result. Huh? What kind of result is this? There won't be any problem with the Nitero pillow? Doraemon took the pillow and began to check it. After all, this prop has not been used for a long time, so it is normal to have a few minor problems occasionally. Nobita looked at Doraemon with a puzzled look. What happened just now? Why did I say that inexplicable words? Do you know the story of Nitero in folk legends? Doraemon didn't even turn his head. Anyway, he didn't have any hope for it. People like Nobita who don't read books or newspapers generally don't know about this kind of folk legend that is less circulated, so it's better to tell him directly. Oh, you mean this story? I know it. Nobita touched his chin and thought, it's about a man who suddenly solved the drought problem after sleeping for 3 years, right? Hearing this, Doraemon's chin fell to the ground in an instant. How did Nobita know this story? Is there a related introduction in the comics? Seeing his expression, Nobita looked unhappy. I read a little when you and Daisy came to force me to read books, and I accidentally remembered some interesting stories. Doraemon then remembered that you and Daisy did ask Nobita to read more books in the past. At that time, Nobita's academic performance was on the rise, so he might not have noticed this. Okay, since you know this, I don't need to explain it. It's just right to save some energy. And this pillow is the prop, the Nitero pillow. Doraemon put the pillow away. It can activate your brain while you are sleeping, allowing you to think about problems in your dreams and come up with corresponding solutions. I've just checked this pillow thoroughly, and there's nothing wrong with it, so just follow the plan you came up with. Hey, you're not really going to put shiny things in the yard, are you? It seems silly. Nobita followed Doraemon and started this unreliable experiment. Chapter 558 Determination. Nobita sat by the courtyard, looking at the blue fat man with a guilty conscience. Hey Doraemon, I always feel that this idea is unreliable. Don't worry, you have to have confidence in my props. Doraemon is still relatively confident in his props, because the prop of the Nitero pillow is not that simple. As long as you strictly follow the conclusions it gives, you will definitely get the desired results. Nobita was uneasy in his position. If this prop goes wrong, my mother will definitely scold us for wasting her time. While he was secretly worried, a crow suddenly landed in the courtyard outside and began to walk around the glass bead. It can be seen that it is very vigilant. Nobita and Doraemon didn't care about arguing anymore and hurriedly held their breath and looked at the intruder. Why did the crow appear here? Is this the reason why the Nitero pillow wants us to give the glass bead? I don't know, but it is said that crows will be interested in the bright Nobita. Mom didn't even dare to breathe now. That's her wedding ring. If it is lost for this reason, it will definitely have a great impact on their relationship. Seeing that there was no danger nearby, the crow grabbed the glass bead in one mouthful, then spread its wings and flew away. Great, it really has something to do with this guy. Nobita and Doraemon stood up excitedly, took out the bamboo dragonfly, and chased after it. See how we can expose your true colors. Nobita and Doraemon followed the crow all the way, and soon entered the park. Nobita looked at the scene nearby, and felt a little curious. Strange, why did this crow run into the park? It should have built a nest here, right? Doraemon was also a little uncertain, but he couldn't find any other reason. While they were looking around, the crow suddenly rushed into a tree hole and spit out the glass bead in its mouth. Nobita, look, we found a clue. Doraemon suddenly grabbed Nobita. That crow should like to bring shiny things here, so the diamond ring may be here too. Yes, this can explain why the diamond ring can't be found at home, because it is not at home at all. Nobita clapped his hands happily when he figured out the internal reasons. The problem was very simple. Okay, now let's take this diamond ring back. Doraemon rushed into the tree hole first. Sure enough, in addition to the glass beads just brought back, there were many shiny things. Diamond rings, necklaces, and gems. This crow has quietly collected a lot of things, which can be regarded as a fortune. Mom will be very happy if we find the diamond ring back. Just as he was about to reach out, Doraemon's body trembled suddenly. Wait, it seems that something is staring at me. When he turned his eyes to one side, he saw a crow standing next to him, and his scholar eyes never left his head. Ah, it turned out to be Mr. Crow. This diamond ring is ours. Can we take it away? Doraemon tried to make his voice softer, but the crow slowly raised its claws and showed its sharp nails to the blue fat man. Doraemon looked at the nails and swallowed hard. Can we discuss it and not hit him in the face later? After half a minute of fierce fighting between the blue fat man and the crow, Doraemon fled the scene with a scarred face and right hand. After finally escaping the pursuit of the crow, he looked at the park behind him and said viciously, "This crow is really hard to deal with. Forget it. Anyway, the diamond ring has been taken back." Nobita patted the blue fat man's head to signal him not to take it to heart. Seeing that his goal was achieved, Doraemon had no choice but to go back and prepare to go back to hand in a task and get some benefits first. Nobita, Doraemon, it's bad. I just got the news that the back mountain will soon be transformed into a golf course. When they were about to leave here, Sunia suddenly rushed over from the corner behind, saying news that shocked them both. Sunia rushed in front of them, panting. He had not stopped since he got the news, just to let Doraemon know as soon as possible. I heard from my father that the president has taken people to look at the land and construction may start soon. Nobita suddenly remembered. Speaking of this, I was indeed driven out of the back mountain by a man in a suit this morning. Could it be that president? Hearing Nobita say this, Sunia's news was almost certain to be true. I came to Doraemon after I got the news. Because this piece of land belongs to them, my father can't do anything about it. I think you are the only one who can stop the construction of the back mountain now, so please think of a way. I really don't want to lose the back mountain. There are so many precious memories of us there. That's right, Doraemon, think of a way quickly. Nobita also looked at Doraemon anxiously. He also liked that mountain very much. Doraemon shook his head. I can't change people's minds at will. This kind of thing will be strictly prohibited in the future, so you are the only one who can do it. We do it, but it is precisely because we are at our wits' end that we come to ask for your help. Nobita and the others looked at Doraemon helplessly. Are they really going to lose the back mountain that can be called a paradise? Yes, you do it, and it's not that we are helpless. Doraemon took out a prop. Just use the Netero pillow, but someone needs to sacrifice. Nobita also remembered that he had just found the diamond ring through the Netero pillow in a way that sounded almost impossible. I know, leave this to me. Nobita took the prop on his own initiative. I will never let them take away my favorite back mountain. The three of them walked to Nobita's home together, and his mother immediately stepped forward. Did you find the thing? The diamond ring was taken away by a crow before, and now it is back. Please be sure to keep it well, Nobita said, while taking out the diamond ring from his pocket and handing it to his mother. Great, Nobita, what should I do? Nobita? Mom watched Nobita walk past her without any reluctance. She had no choice but to shout at Nobita's back, I will give you more pocket money, do you want it? Sorry, now is not the time to talk about this. I have more important things to deal with. Nobita waved at her. As for the pocket money, let's talk about it after I finish the important things. Mom looked at Nobita strangely. It was really strange. This child used to be very happy as long as he heard about the extra pocket money. Excuse me, auntie. Sunia also walked past her. He also wanted to see the power of the Netero pillow. This problem is very complicated. You may sleep for several days, or even longer. Doraemon looked directly into Nobita's eyes and asked, Nobita, are you ready? Nobita looked solemn and nodded vigorously. Chapter 559 Acquisition. The moment Nobita's head touched the pillow, he had already fallen into a deep sleep, and the time required to solve the problem appeared on the pillow. How long will it take? Doraemon looked at the number displayed on the pillow in disbelief. How is it possible? Only 3 seconds? Is the machine really broken? Sunia looked at him puzzledly. Isn't it a good thing to wait for a short time? Why was he so surprised? In the few seconds they were stunned, Nobita had already jumped up from the pillow. A flash of inspiration. We just need to wait here. It seems that my props are really broken. Doraemon picked up the Netero pillow with an indifferent look and began to repair it with the most professional tools. At this time, the time had turned to 9 o'clock. The president also stepped into the meeting room on time at this moment, but found that someone had been waiting for a long time inside. Mr. Onmyaji, you must have something important to do when you come to me so early. After a short daze, Kodomi Yoshio seemed to see an old friend and sat down in his seat calmly. After such a long time of getting along, he has figured out the character of the Yin Yang Master, and he doesn't need to deliberately maintain awe. Unlike other superpowers, this person's various habits are closer to that of an ordinary person. So when getting along with him, treating him equally is more pleasing to him than being in awe. Indeed, I want to ask you to buy something, and I will pay enough. And as he put a diamond on the table. This diamond can definitely be sold for hundreds of millions of yen. I believe you can maximize its value. Of course, the things I want to buy are not cheap. When Kodomi Yoshio saw the diamond, his eyes were straight. Such a big diamond is rare in the world. If he hypes it well, it can indeed be sold for hundreds of millions of yen, or even higher. This diamond is indeed worth what you said. Although Kodomi Yoshio was jealous, he was still relatively calm. But I also want to know what you want to buy, and then I can decide whether to take it over. The idea of robbing did have a moment, and then he suppressed it. This thing is definitely not feasible. If he dared to do it, he himself was not sure if the people on this floor were enough for this Yin Yang Master to fight. To put it another way, his guns could indeed defeat him, but this kid only needed to hold him hostage to contain all of them. And most importantly, this kid was very small. If he was a little shameless and hid behind him, he could basically defend himself from bullets without any blind spots. It's a wise choice. Seeing that he didn't lose his mind, Yu and as he was relieved. I want you to help me buy a piece of land and some special materials and chemicals. Then Yu and as he listed 1,000 strange materials, from metal parts to chemicals. The messy documents made Kodomiyoshio a little dizzy. The land is easy to deal with. If you buy it, 150 million will be enough. But the remaining materials. Kodomiyoshio looked at the list. It's easy for me to get a small amount of these things, but the quantity you want is really too large. Yu and as he also nodded. He knew the difficulty of purchasing these items. Few people dared to take large orders. Kodomiyoshio put the things down and asked uncertainly, are you planning to modify hot weapons? I see that there seem to be a lot of explosives and parts in your list. I can't think of any other possibilities. Yu and as he didn't shy away and nodded openly. Anyway, they were all what the old man wanted. In the list, listed by Old Man Ling, some things were props needed by the demons to make some consumable magic weapons, but he chose similar things based on the existing knowledge and current situation. In ancient times, the demons knew a lot about things in nature. Ling Feng knew clearly which things could explode when mixed together and what the best ratio was. It's just that these things are suitable for the grassroots use. Combat effectiveness is not up to par, so they have not been developed too much. And they are not like the human race now, who want to get to the bottom of things. Every substance is marked with a chemical formula. If I'm not mistaken, you want to transform the Gatling gun, right? I just remember that you have that weapon. Kodomiyoshio frowned. I can only try my best to buy these things, and I'm not sure how much I can buy. No problem, just try your best to collect them. Yu and as he nodded, but now there is another more important thing. Anyway, these things can actually be asked to Zayashin, but his production line is too inefficient and is not enough to support his consumption. Are you talking about buying land? He also sorted out his mood. It's just that mountain. I will send someone to take it over soon. Please don't worry. After speaking, Kodomiyoshio picked up the phone and prepared to tell his friend about this matter. Yu and as he couldn't help but sigh. It is indeed much easier to have enough power than to work alone. Many things that he must do personally and may not be able to get, the other party can solve them with just one phone call. This is the difference. In the final analysis, magicians like them are just ordinary people with higher combat effectiveness. This world cannot always be solved with fists. Before personal power reaches a level beyond all limits, influence is even more important than force. Then Kodomiyoshio discussed the materials with Yu and as he until the second call came in more than 10 minutes later. This is Kodomiyoshio. How is the deal going over there? What? That guy. Yu and as he looked at the president's frowning brows and felt a little uneasy. Could it be that the guy suddenly raised the price? A few minutes later, the president put down the phone and looked at Yu and as he in front of him with a puzzled look. This matter has been settled. Oh. How much did it cost? Did the seller raise the price? He was also looking forward to the other party's answer. If the guy's price was too high, Yu and as he would not admit the deal. At worst, he would go there in person. You misunderstood. The reason why I felt incredible just now was not because he raised the price, but because the price he offered was too low. Kodomiyoshio drank a sip of tea to calm down. He is such a smart man, but he only offered 80 million, which is about half of the money I expected. Impossible? Yu and as he also felt unbelievable. He believed in Kodomiyoshio's intuition about the price of the land. I'm also very surprised, but my friend just told me that the guy kept shouting that it was haunted, so he was in a hurry to sell the land. Haunted? How is it possible? I have always lived in a small town. If there was a ghost, I would have dealt with it long ago. Wait. Yu and as he suddenly thought that, although it was indeed impossible to be haunted, if this matter was man-made, then everything was possible. Could it be that this matter was actually done by Izuki-shan? But what on earth did he do in the back mountain to scare the other party like that? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 560. What is a total solar eclipse? After agreeing that Kodomiyoshio would deliver the things after a while, Yajidaiji disappeared from the room and teleported directly to the back mountain of the school. Izuki, what on earth did you do here? The president sold this land for half the price. After arriving, Yajidaiji found that Izuki's body and soul had completely merged with the back mountain. It can be said that he is now the legendary mountain god. When Kozen saw that Yajidaiji had returned, the president and others also surrendered, and he also began to get out of this state. The mud that emerged from the ground gradually condensed into a human form in front of Yajidaiji. First, the body gradually took shape, and then the facial features, hair and other features were restored. A minute later, Izuki stood in front of Yajidaiji in a complete state, and it was completely impossible to tell that it was a body made of mud. Just now I took a few people to the cave as a warning, and tied up a few particularly stubborn people with vines. Later, they ran away screaming. As he said that, Demishin released the remaining few people. Look, these are the ones. Because they had to go to Zuzu's place anyway, I had to resort to this last resort. When did you learn these operations? Looking at the prisoners tied up by vines in various ways, Yu and as he wiped a cold sweat. Forget it, you also saved a lot of money for Kodomiyoshio, which can be regarded as remote support. At this time, he suddenly thought that if he sent people to other people's homes to make a fuss before purchasing in the future, then could he buy anything at a low price? But this matter is just a thought. He is not so tasteless. This time it is just a coincidence. After chatting with him for a few words, the two walked down the mountain together. They all went home to prepare lunch. Just when they reached the foot of the mountain, Yu and Azi and Demishin both turned around and covered their stomachs at the same time because the bugs on the pile of garbage were really disgusting. Who did this? It's so unethical. Yu and Azi yelled, let me know, and I'll make him eat this garbage. Chumushin silently used his mental power to decompose the garbage. It's better not to tell him about this. Okay, let's separate it here. Chumushin suddenly stopped. I still have to buy some ingredients, otherwise I won't have lunch. It's okay, I still have a lot of food at home. Why don't you come to my house for dinner? There's no difference between cooking for 2 and 3 people. That's troublesome. Chumushin didn't refuse. It seemed like a long time since they last sat together for dinner. The next morning, Yu and Dazi ate breakfast and watched the news as usual. Today there was another interesting event. It is reported that there will be a total solar eclipse on the morning of May 28th, and you can watch it directly in Japan at that time. Yu and Dazi said that he was very interested because according to Japanese records, it seems that about 1,000 years have passed since the last total solar eclipse that could be watched directly in Japan. In other words, if you miss this opportunity and want to watch a total solar eclipse in Japan, you may have to wait another 1,000 years. How could we miss such a spectacle? After arriving at school, Dekisugi came to him excitedly. Dazi, did you know that there will be a total solar eclipse tomorrow? He nodded. Of course, this is a grand event that only happens once every 1,000 years. How can we miss it? Let's go and see it together tomorrow. That's right. I'll call Shizuka later. Such a good thing should be shared with everyone. Just like that, before class, everyone knew that there would be a total solar eclipse tomorrow, except for Nobita who had been late again recently. Everyone was discussing this matter, but Nobita didn't notice it for a whole day, because he was late and sleepy. As expected, Nobita was kept by the teacher and severely criticized, before he was allowed to go home without telling his parents. It's been a bad day recently. Nobita staggered on the road. Why am I always sleepy? Just like that, Nobita dozed off while walking until he met Fat Tiger and others in the open space. Look, Fat Tiger, these are high-end sunglasses from France. Sunia handed Fat Tiger a pair of sunglasses. These are specially made for watching the total solar eclipse. Great, right? Nobita, who was dozing off, woke up instantly. He seemed to have heard total solar eclipse just now. Is it a new type of snack? So Nobita walked towards Fat Tiger and Sunia. You just talked about the total solar eclipse. May I ask if this thing is delicious? I have never heard of it. The two of them were stunned in the open space for a while. What did Nobita say? He just said, how does the total solar eclipse taste? After a short silence, a sharp laugh broke out. Ha ha ha, I'm laughing to death. Nobita actually asked me how the total solar eclipse tastes. Sunia laughed so hard that he rolled on the ground holding his stomach. Yes, the total solar eclipse is a kind of food, and it tastes very good. But you just need to pay attention that this thing is very hot. A person can only eat it once in his life. Ha ha ha. Seeing that they were almost laughing, Nobita knew that he asked a very stupid question, no matter how slow he was. Knowing that he would not get an answer, he could only leave the open space with a lot of doubts. TSK, what? I just asked about the smell of a total solar eclipse. Is that a big deal? Nobita was walking on the road, and the more he thought about it, the angrier he got. By the way, why not ask Shizuka? She will definitely tell me the answer. He rushed to Shizuka's house. When he passed a corner, he suddenly met Love. Shizuka was standing in front of him with a smile on her face. Suddenly, Nobita felt that the world turned pink. Shizuka, are you waiting for me? When he said the last word, his smile suddenly froze, because at this time, a Dekisugi walked out from behind Shizuka. At this time, Shizuka's smile became even bigger. Dekisugi classmate knows a lot about the solar eclipse. No, these are just very superficial knowledge. Dekisugi was a little embarrassed by the compliments from others. Why don't we go to see the solar eclipse together tomorrow? I believe it will be very interesting. Dekisugi made an invitation with a smile. Shizuka agreed without hesitation. Of course, no problem. Tomorrow morning at 7:30, right? I will definitely be there on time. Then let's make it this way. See you tomorrow. After saying that, Zyadishin waved to her and then left. Oh, it's Nobita. Shizuka only then noticed Nobita's presence, and turned to him. I seem to hear you calling me just now. Is there something you want to discuss with me? Nobita waved his hands repeatedly. No, nothing. I just said hello to you when I passed by. Is that so? Then I'll go back first. Shizuka smiled and said goodbye to him, and then she would do her homework. Tomorrow morning, I will watch the solar eclipse with classmate Dekishin, so I must rest early, otherwise I will fall asleep in class. TSK, 1 or 2, you only know about the solar eclipse. Why don't you know to popularize what the solar eclipse is for me? Nobita kicked the stone next to him away, and then rushed home shouting, Doraemon, teach me what a solar eclipse is. Chapter 561, before watching the solar eclipse. Early the next morning, Yu and Azzy went out to meet up with Demishin, who was holding a pair of brand new special sunglasses in his hand. Oh, good morning. Chumushin walked to Daz's side. Aren't you wearing sunglasses when you go to watch the solar eclipse? Yu and Azzy shook his head. I don't need them. Anyway, I can look directly at the sun now, so there is no need to wear sunglasses. To be honest, sometimes I really envy people like you with good physiques. You can do anything without worrying about overloading your body. Chumushin shook his head helplessly. Unlike us, even if we have to pay attention to our bodies at all times, we still come to my place as long-term residents occasionally when we catch a cold. Yu and Azzy shook his head. In fact, physical cultivators are not as good as you think. There are a lot of troubles. Then he pointed to Kingayu in the yard. Look, he has to practice from morning to night every day to ensure that his strength improves slowly. But you spiritualists only need to meditate for a few hours a day. There are pros and cons to both. When you envy others, they are also envious of you. Kingayu broke through the limits of his body for the first time. Now he must frantically increase the amount of exercise. Otherwise the road ahead will be very difficult. It's like a person moving something. If he doesn't put force on his shoulders the moment he picks it up, he will have to use several times the strength to lift it. The two chatted while walking towards Shizuka's house. On the way, they met Shizuka, who was walking towards the tower together. Hi Shizuka. Zyadishin walked quickly to Shizuka's side. I didn't expect you to come so early. No, Yuan and Dekishin are amazing. They can insist on arriving at school the earliest every morning. Shizuka smiled and responded to Zyadishin's kindness. Let's go together. It's already 7:10 now. Yuan and AG was not panicked at all. Anyway, it was still early, enough for them to walk slowly. But Shizuka looked at the sky worriedly. I just don't know if we can see the solar eclipse today. Yuan and AG and Dekishin both smiled kindly. Isn't it just a cloudy day? Anyway, Yu and Eiji can change the weather at any time. Just do some tricks. After walking for a while, they finally came to the observation tower, from which they can see every building in the town. Shizuka stood here and looked down at the town and couldn't help but sigh. The view here is really wide. Of course, this is the commanding height of the whole town, the best location. Yu and as he said proudly beside him. He took great pains to eliminate the interference of others. Zyadishan quietly pulled the corner of his clothes. It's about time for you to use magic to clear the sky, right? Yu and as he looked at his watch. It's okay, it's only 7:20 now. I will clear the sky on time at 7:30. At that time, the total solar eclipse will be surrounded by countless clouds, and the viewing effect will be the best. Zyadishan also nodded. Anyway, as long as Yu and as he doesn't delay them from watching the solar eclipse, he can change other details at will. 10 minutes ago, Nobita was rudely called by Doraemon. Nobita, it's time to get up and watch the solar eclipse. I know, this once in a millennium event can't be missed. Nobita slowly sat up and yawned, and then began to tidy up the quilt. A few minutes later, Nobita stuffed the quilt into the cupboard, and then looked at the gloomy sky. But today's weather is so bad, how can we watch the solar eclipse? This is indeed a problem, because the weather box was taken for repair a few days ago. Doraemon touched his head a little embarrassedly. It is precisely because he always breaks down the props he needs at such a critical moment, that he has a bad reputation among people. What? The weather box was taken for repair? Nobita was instantly furious. Then how can we watch the solar eclipse? You might as well let me sleep a little longer. Don't be so excited. Although the weather box was taken for repair, I still have other props here. Doraemon quickly took out the wind god fan. For example, we can use this as wings to fly up to the clouds, and watching the solar eclipse there is absolutely the best. Nobita also regained his vitality. I know this prop, the wind god fan, right? Great. As long as we have this thing, we can see the best solar eclipse. Is there any more perfect position than here to watch the solar eclipse above the clouds with a wide view? Absolutely not. There is no better place on the whole earth. Then let's go. Doraemon continued to dig into his pocket. By the way, we have to use this thing before going out. The adaptation lamp. Because the air above the clouds is very thin and the temperature is very low. If you don't use this lamp, you may suffocate in the clouds due to lack of oxygen. Nobita took the prop with a smile on his face. I know. Let me take a look now. Doraemon, you don't need it, right? The blue fat man nodded. Just use it for yourself. After all, I'm a robot, and I will not be affected too much, even if I'm active in outer space. After taking safety precautions, the two flew directly outside through the window through the function fan, and began to rise slowly. In the open space, Fat Tiger was wearing Sunia's French sunglasses and looked angry. What special sunglasses? I can't see anything at all. Sunia quickly grabbed him. Don't say that. Who told you that the weather is bad today and you can't see the sun? He was really worried that Fat Tiger would break his sunglasses directly. If this thing broke, his mother would never let him go. Just when he was worried, a strong wind blew over his head, messing up his hair. Really, this weather is too bad. The sun is not visible, but the wind is quite strong. Sunia complained and looked up at the sky. If I can see the sun before the solar eclipse, what is that? He immediately grabbed the corner of Fat Tiger's clothes. Look, Nobita and Doraemon are flying in the sky. What? When we can't see, those two guys actually want to stay out of trouble? That's too much. Fat Tiger jumped down from the cement pipe and picked up 2 stones. Sunia, come with me to knock those 2 bastards down. Okay, absolutely no problem. Sunia also picked up 2 stones, and together with Fat Tiger, he aimed at Nobita and Doraemon in the sky, and threw the weapons in his hands with all his strength. Doraemon, at this speed, how long will it take to reach the clouds? The blue fat man shook his head. We are not far from the ground now. It is too early for you to go to the sky. Nobita took a deep breath. His eyes suddenly became sharp, and he planned to rush directly to the top of the cloud with the power of the fan. But at this moment, 2 stones hit Nobita's hands accurately, knocking the 2 wind fans to the ground. Huh? What happened just now? Nobita moved his empty hands, and he didn't understand the cause of the incident. Nobita, are you okay? Doraemon flew over and tried to catch Nobita so that he would not fall directly to the ground. But the other two stones flew over and one of them just knocked down a wind fan. Oh. What happened? Doraemon looked at his free hand and then fell down with Nobita. Chapter 562 Furious Doraemon. Really, Sunia, how did you miss the target? Fat Tiger looked at him with an unhappy face. I thought you had great skills, but you only hit one. Sunia smiled and flattered him, but he despised Fat Tiger in his heart. This guy was really a hopeless fool. Fat Tiger is such a fool. If he knocked down all their fans, they would be dead. Even if they won't be punished because of their rage, they will still be labeled as murderers and instigators of murder. I won't be that stupid. Doraemon saw that there was only one Wind God fan left in his hand and immediately realized that it was unrealistic to use the Wind God fan to fly over and save people. There's no way. If we fall from this height, Nobita and I will definitely have no hope of survival. Doraemon stretched out his hand and lifted it up with all his strength. Now we can only leave our hope to this strong wind from below. When his Wind God fan stopped, a strong wind suddenly rushed out from the ground, and Nobita and Doraemon were in the center of the storm. The two were torn by gravity and wind at the same time, and their faces were distorted by external forces, but the speed of descent was also decreasing rapidly. Great, this bet was right. Doraemon looked at the slowly approaching ground and was ecstatic. This speed has reached the safety line. Sure enough, Doraemon and Nobita fell to the ground, and there was no discomfort except for a little pain in their elbows. Fat Tiger and Sunia took this opportunity to pick up the Wind God fan below, and Doraemon's fan was loosened because of the fall to the ground just now. Fat Tiger fanned the fan. We will leave first this time. You two stay below. See you after the solar eclipse. Sunia made a face at the bottom and then flew into the sky with Fat Tiger. I will never let you go. Doraemon slowly stood up and black flames began to surge from his back. You almost killed us. This time I will never forgive you. This incident has gone beyond the scope of a joke. Falling from a height of more than 20 meters will really kill you. At this time, Fat Tiger and Sunia were flying upward happily, but suddenly a terrifying murderosaur came from below, which made their bodies stiffen for a moment. What's going on? Why is there such a dangerosaur coming out from the ground? Is Doraemon really angry? Fat Tiger turned around and saw Doraemon below. On him, Fat Tiger felt an aura that was more terrifying than Yu and Azuki. The blue fat man took out another green fan. This is the banana fan in the myth of the Celestial Empire. Experience it. As he said, he adjusted the wind force of the banana fan to storm and then fanned it fiercely at the sky. You too, remember this lesson for me. Suddenly, the sky and the earth changed color, and the surrounding sky completely dimmed at this moment, and the air pressure was so low that it was hard to breathe. The air element gathered crazily, and under the instigation of the banana fan to pry the rules, a huge tornado quickly formed, and the two people in the air were swept into the storm. Yu and Azuki and Imushin saw this scene from the distant observation tower. They had to say goodbye to Shizuka first, and then the two went to investigate the cause of the tornado together. This wind doesn't look like it was formed naturally. Someone must have interfered. Imushin looked at Yu and Azuki. Could it be those gods you mentioned last time? I'm not sure, but I can't rule out this possibility. After all, it's not the first time they have lost troops here. Yu and Azuki looked solemn. The opponent's strength should not be underestimated. To be able to set off such a powerful storm here, even Yu and Azuki must have a certain amount of time to prepare. But the opponent's attack did not have any signs. That is to say, the opponent's strength is at least above Yu and Azuki. If the enemy is really coming this time, then their situation may not be good, but both of them are ready for battle. Listen Zaoshin, the people of the God clan are very powerful because of the inheritance of the throne. Yu and Azuki looked at Demishin, but correspondingly, their abilities all have great flaws. For example, the god of truth we met last time, others cannot lie to him, but he also cannot lie to others. These limitations in ability are the reason for their strength, but also the most fatal weakness of the God clan. If it really is the God clan this time, while the energy is strong, it must be accompanied by physical weakness, or weaknesses in some aspects. Yu and Azuki and Demishin opened the sensing technique at the same time, so the key to victory this time is to find Why is it him? The two discovered at the same time that this storm was not caused by their imaginary enemy at all, but was fanned out by Doraemon using future props in the open space. The two men quickly landed beside Doraemon and held him back. Stop slapping him. What happened? Doraemon was completely furious. These two bastards used rocks to knock us down from a height of 20 meters and almost killed us. Hearing this, the two were silent for a while. They should be taught a lesson for such things, but you are going too far. However, Yu and Dazzy was more curious about how these two guys threw the rocks more than 20 meters away. Enough, Doraemon. If you continue like this, the innocent people nearby will be involved. Yu and Dazzy forcibly took away his palm leaf fan, and if you continue to slap them, their brains will be shaken evenly. At this time, Fat Tiger and Sunia were already in a semi-faint state, and vomit was constantly discharged and scattered in the air, which was simply horrible. Well, let's stop here for today's lesson. Doraemon calmed down a little. Next time if they dare to do this again, I will definitely beat them until they scream for their mothers. And as he looked at the tornado above and complained, that's better than now. They don't even have the energy to scream for their mothers now. So what? They started it first. Doraemon had no regrets about this and did not intend to take away the hurricane. What should I do? It seems that Doraemon is still angry. D-Mushin patted Dazzy on the shoulder. Do you have any way to deal with this thing? And Dazzy did not speak, closed his eyes, and began to accumulate magic power, and large-scale magic began to take shape in his hands. Wind magic, natural disaster. And as he waved his hand with all his strength, and another tornado in the opposite direction began to take shape rapidly in the air. Under Yu and Daz's control, the hurricane magic did not collide directly with the hurricane, but absorbed the nearby air to increase its size. After more than 10 seconds, two natural disasters of similar size collided with each other, constantly interacting and entangled with each other. Izuku was sweating coldly. If Yu and Age's magic failed, then now he could only hope that Doraemon would calm down. After the fierce collision, the scale of the hurricanes on both sides began to shrink rapidly and finally disappeared in the sky together. Fat Tiger and Sunia, who were originally spinning rapidly in the hurricane, were thrown out and were caught by the quick-eyed and quick-handed Izuku with his mental power, which saved their lives. Chapter 563 What a coincidence, you are here too. Zyadishan looked at their mosquito-repellent eyes and shook her head. Now they will have to ask for leave today. They are just asking for leave. If we fall to the ground directly, we don't even need to ask for leave. Doraemon was still angry. And as he secretly complained, what are you thinking? Even if you jump from the Tokyo Tower, you too may not die. See the happy gas. There are children who jump from the Tokyo Tower and it's okay. Nobita finally got up from the ground. Doraemon, what time is it now? Has the solar eclipse started? The blue fat man took out the pocket watch on his neck. Don't worry, it's only 7:27 now. Don't worry. Hearing this, Dazzy and Zyadishan were relieved. Since the solar eclipse has not started yet, it is not a loss to save these two people. In order not to miss the next total solar eclipse, the two said goodbye to them and hurried back to the tower. Doraemon, what should we do now? Nobita pointed at the wind god fan on the ground. This thing is broken. It is impossible to fly into the sky with it. Doraemon looked at the wind god fan on the ground and was silent for a while and reached into his pocket again. Don't worry, even if this thing is gone, I still have other ways. This time we will use the anywhere door. Nobita, hold the door frame here. Doraemon gestured to Nobita to hold the door with his hand to prevent it from falling later. I've already held it. What are you going to do? Nobita asked, holding the door frame tightly. Don't worry, wait for me to set the coordinates to the cloud first, and then use this condensing cloud gas to fix the cloud, so that we can go directly to the cloud. As he spoke, Doraemon had already opened the door, and opposite was a flawless white cloud, still floating slowly in the sky. Then he took out a bottle of condensing cloud gas, and sprayed it twice, and the cloud stopped floating, and it felt like jelly when pinched. Okay, Nobita, the condensing cloud gas has been set up. Doraemon waved to him. Now the clouds here can be stepped on. After saying that, Doraemon went over and jumped twice on the cloud, and the cloud bounced him up like a trampoline. Really? I want to come too. Nobita also rushed into the arbitrary door and then slammed heavily on the cloud with a comfortable look on his face. Wow, it feels so soft here. I really want to sleep. Doraemon pulled him up. Really, don't always think about sleeping. The solar eclipse is about to start. After saying that, Doraemon took out a cracked watch. It's already 7:27. Wait, this watch seems to have stopped. Doraemon's voice became quieter and quieter. Fortunately, Nobita didn't hear it, but propped up his face and looked at him curiously. What's wrong? What time is it? Seeing that he didn't say anything, Nobita had to ask himself. This innocent look really made Doraemon not know how to answer. No, maybe I've missed the eclipse. But how can I say this out loud? Nobita has been looking forward to it all night. Finally, he put away his watch with a smile on his face. It's already 7:29. Nobita, put on your sunglasses. The total solar eclipse is about to begin. Okay, the eclipse is about to begin. I'm so excited, Nobita said, while excitedly putting on the special sunglasses made for the future. That's right, you must wear sunglasses to prevent eye injuries. Doraemon turned and walked towards the anywhere door. I'm going to get some dorayaki now, and I'll be back in a while. As he spoke, he disappeared from Nobita's sight, not giving Nobita any chance to answer. What are you doing? Going back to get the dorayaki at this critical moment. Nobita lay down, staring at the sun. Forget it, the solar eclipse is about to start anyway. I'll just watch here first. Gian and AG and Dekisugi returned to the tower, and Shizuka asked excitedly, did you guys eliminate the strong wind just now? Yes, it's all thanks to Deiji-kun. Dekisugi smiled and pointed at Gian and AG. Magic and mental power are in different fields, so naturally you can't take credit for others. By the way, what time is it now? Shizuka looked at Gian and AG. The sky hasn't cleared up yet. The solar eclipse won't be over, right? If not, let's go back and have breakfast. Gian and AG waved his hand casually. Don't worry, it was only 7:27 when we came back just now, and now it's only. Then Gian and AG raised his hand and looked at his watch, silently activated the soul magic for himself. Superdimensional time. This magic is to greatly increase the speed of thinking. Because the thinking speed is too fast, it seems that everything around has slowed down, so it is called superdimensional time. What should I do? Doraemon's watch is broken. Should I tell them this? Forget it. They were so happy when they found out. I really can't bear to tell them. I can't tell them, but the solar eclipse is over. Since the natural solar eclipse is over, we can create an artificial one. And as he made up his mind and made the same decision as Doraemon, after releasing the magic, it's only 7:29 now. The solar eclipse is about to start. Really? It's great that I didn't miss this historic scene. Zyadishan put on sunglasses and looked up to watch the solar eclipse. And as he was relieved when he saw this scene, and then he left the sight of the two and teleported directly into space using the law of space. Damn, Doraemon is really a scumbag. And as he looked at the moon in the distance, the solar eclipse is really over, and there is really only artificial solar eclipse. As he spoke, the cloak appeared in his hand. Now make me a balloon, the bigger the better, I want to use it to block the sun. Dark Star Cloak made a yes, sir gesture, and then began to turn into a sphere and slowly expanded. May 27th. 1980 is destined to be a time that will be recorded in history because there were 2 consecutive solar eclipses on the morning of this day. And most importantly, the second solar eclipse is only seen in 10,000 years, enough to be remembered as one of the wonders of the universe. Look, the solar eclipse has finally begun. Zyadishan on the earth pointed to the sky with glasses. The moon has begun to block the sun, Japan's 1,000-year-old beauty. Wait a minute, Dekisugi-san. Shizuka patted Zyadishan's shoulder in disbelief. Why are there shadows on both sides at the same time? Are there 2 moons? Hearing this, Zyadishan moved his eyes from the left side of the sun to the right side, and found that there was still an obstruction on the right side. This is simply impossible. Nobita also discovered this historical wonder, and was so surprised that his glasses fell off. Why are there shadows spreading on both sides at the same time? Did Doraemon say it wrong? They were just stunned, but the astronomers in this world collapsed directly, because what happened now completely defeated their cognition of the trajectory of the world. This is impossible. Forget about the second solar eclipse. Why are there two sides at the same time? An astronomer roared. Where is the telescope? Hurry up and find out the reason for the problem. An astronomer behind him put on sunglasses and finally breathed a sigh of relief after careful observation. This time it is not the moon that blocks the sun, but other obstacles, and there are two. But because the sunlight is blocked, we can't accurately observe what the obstacles are. At this time in space, Yu and Azzy and Doraemon met here. Doraemon used a magnifying lamp to magnify his head thousands of times, making it temporarily reach a size that can block the sun. Yu and Azzy greeted him with the balloon, transformed from the dark star cloak. So you are here too. What a coincidence. Yes, it's really a coincidence. The two smiled knowingly. It's all because of those naughty kids. Chapter 564 Nobita's Tragedy. The two of them completed the alternation of the total solar eclipse perfectly. At this moment, Yu and Azzy suddenly felt that someone seemed to be watching him from behind. It seems that someone is peeping at us. Yu and Azzy looked back at the moon behind him. Is it my illusion? But there seemed to be a sight just now. It was not the first time they had been to the moon, and there should be no living creatures on it, so he did not think much about it. But old Manling was a little uneasy because he knew very well that the person who peeped at them just now was not a flame servant. What's going on? There must be no local creatures on the moon. Ling Feng put away his mental power to hide his existence. Could it be that the Protoss has already noticed the existence of our demon race? Yu and Azzy didn't know that he was thinking about it in his body. He returned to the high tower below and went to school with others. Ling Feng separated a little power to contact the flame servant in space. Has the Protoss sent anyone recently? Absolutely not. The sun god has not mobilized the Protoss recently. The flame servant shook his head. He really didn't receive any news about this matter. That's troublesome. The gaze just now came from the moon. Why don't you go and take a look? Even if it's really the Protoss, they shouldn't fight you. The flame servant agreed silently. It was indeed only him who was more suitable to come forward in this matter, so let him handle it. After a while, he returned to Ling Feng. You are worrying too much about this matter. Those are not Protoss people. Huh? Is there really a creature there? Old Manling was also very curious. Why didn't he find it in the previous few times he went there? It's possible that there was no creature there before, because there has been a constant flow of willpower here recently, so it may be a newly created creature. Prometheus pointed to the moon in the distance. It should be a big event about the moon in the outside world. Hearing this, the old man decided to go there in person. He wanted to see what happened on the moon, and even if he was really discovered, his identity would not necessarily be exposed. It's just a little bit of power. If it's lost, it's lost. Yu and Azzy returned to school. At this time, everyone was discussing the second solar eclipse this morning. I don't believe it. There must be something fishy about the second solar eclipse. Action stood up and shouted, how could two obstacles block the moon at the same time? You're right. I think there must be some creature on the moon causing trouble. Could it be Princess Kaguya? Speaking of Princess Kaguya, Haruo instantly became excited. Is the peerless beauty going to come to the world again? It makes me so happy just thinking about it. Yu and as he laughed disdainfully beside him. You stupid mortals, just slowly speculate on the glorious deeds he and Doraemon left in this world. Dekishin also denied him. I also think it's impossible, because the environment on the moon is not suitable for living at all. Not to mention that the temperature difference between day and night on the moon is as high as more than 100 degrees Celsius. The fact that there is almost no water on it has determined that living things cannot survive. There is another reason he didn't say, that is, he has been to the moon and found no living things on it. Nobita walked into the classroom at this time. He heard everything everyone was discussing clearly and immediately covered his mouth and laughed. These guys are so stupid. Didn't those stories say that there have always been rabbits living on the moon? Especially that Dekisugi. He was so confident in popularizing science for everyone, but he didn't even know these most basic knowledge, which was really embarrassing for their academic masters. Since you don't know, let me popularize science for you. Thinking of this, Nobita stood on the podium. Everyone be quiet. When the students below heard this, they subconsciously tilted their heads towards the podium above, and the scene suddenly became quiet. Ahem. Classmates, let me reveal the mysterious creatures on the moon to you. Nobita cleared his throat and said loudly, there are creatures on the moon, and they are rabbits. The students below listened to Nobita's words with a curious attitude, and the originally quiet scene suddenly became cold. Everyone felt a chill climbing up their necks. Is this a cold joke? After a short silence, there was an unstoppable laughter. Ha ha ha. Nobita actually believes that there are rabbits on the moon. Yeah, hasn't anyone told him for so long that there are rabbits on the moon? Is just a lie for children. Even the usually serious Dekisugi turned his face away, not wanting others to see him wanting to laugh but unable to. Gian and Eiji laughed so hard that he fell backwards and was still laughing after falling to the ground. There was no way to stop this mysterious power. Nobita, although it may be very depressing to you to say this. Shizuka walked to Nobita's side. There are rabbits on the moon. In fact, it is really just a fairy tale for children. Suddenly, the laughter from below was like countless sharp arrows piercing Nobita's body. What did you say? This thing is actually a lie? Yes, Nobita, so don't tell jokes anymore, okay? Shizuka couldn't help but tease him, and then returned to his seat. Listening to the laughter coming from below, Nobita's face instantly turned red, and then he felt that his world gradually became grey and the light gradually disappeared. No, even if Shizuka said so, I would never believe it. There are really rabbits on the moon. Nobita looked at the people below and yelled again, didn't the adults tell us this? The rabbits on the moon will use sticks to pound rice cakes to eat. After that, Nobita casually pulled out a long plastic ruler from the side and hit it with all his strength. Just pound like this. He couldn't continue speaking halfway because he felt the force coming from the end of the ruler. It seemed that he hit something that time. Nobita slowly cast his eyes to the end of his ruler, only to see that the plastic ruler had been deeply imprinted on the teacher's face, which looked a little funny. After a short silence, the students below burst into laughter again. Nobita, why are you still saying these childish words? The teacher moved the ruler away from his face, and you dare to attack the teacher? Now go to the corridor and stand in the punishment. Yes. Nobita hurriedly ran past the teacher with his school bag on his back, and his back looked a little aggrieved. Really? This kid even stole my plastic ruler. The teacher picked up the ruler and put it on the podium and began the math class. Nobita wiped his tears silently in the corridor. It was the adults who said there were rabbits on the moon. Why didn't everyone believe it? Then he secretly glanced at Yu and Daisuke. That guy is obviously not an ordinary person. Why doesn't he believe it? Is there really nothing on the moon? No, I can't just deny myself like this. Nobita suddenly cheered up again. I must go to the moon to take a look. Otherwise I will never admit this fact. Thinking of this, Nobita wiped his tears and began to look forward to the end of school. Some things are more reliable when seen with your own eyes than heard. Chapter 565 Tsuki no Luka. When no one noticed, a spaceship fell from the sky and landed in the land behind the mountain. This is it. According to the trajectory of the two of them returning, the final expected landing place should be near here. In the cabin, a child in a white robe turned off the robot spaceship and sank it into the soil to prevent it from being discovered by the Earthlings. Is this the current Earth? The white-robed boy walked to the front of the platform and looked at the town, feeling a little emotional. The speed of civilization development here is really fast, much better than on the moon. As he said, he jumped down from the high platform. I just hope this place will not be like my hometown. Luka, you really came here quietly by yourself. A little turtle poked its head out of the clothes. You really didn't listen to their advice. Tsuki no Luka smiled. If she had always believed in Luna's theory of peaceful development, it would be a matter of time before they were found by humans. You know, there were two people who came to outer space this morning. With that level of technology, how long would it take to come to the moon to explore their existence? After all, they are an immortal race. It is not easy to find such a suitable star system to live in. Moreover, they have lived here for thousands of years. How can they just leave? Forget it, Mozo. I just came here to find out the situation. Luka touched Mozo's head. We will go back soon. Very soon. Walking down from the back mountain, Tsukino saw people on Earth walking around on the street and immediately shrank back. Really, I actually forgot to put my ears away. He tore a piece of cloth from his clothes. Just wrap it up, and it will be fine. A faint light shone from Tsukino hands, and the cloth automatically wrapped around his head several times, putting away the rabbit ears. How is it, Mozo? Tsukino took out the turtle and asked him to take a good look at himself. Do I look obviously different from the natives on Earth now? No. Mozo shook his head. Now you are no different from the natives here, except that your clothes are a little strange compared to them. Hearing this, Tsukino was a little relieved and then slowly walked out of the back mountain. If something is wrong, he will withdraw immediately. What happened here? Tsukino looked at the fallen branches and leaves scattered on the ground nearby and was a little surprised. According to the season, they should not have this kind of climate now. The little turtle Mozo whispered in his clothes. The environment on Earth is so bad now, it is normal to have abnormal situations. Indeed, the air quality here is much worse than that mountain and where we live. Tsukino has a deep understanding of this. Now you can smell the smell of gasoline and dust wherever you take a breath, which is really disgusting. If we really live here in the future, I must let everyone find a place with a better environment to live. Tsukino said while walking forward, but now I'll deal with this place a little bit. After speaking, Tsukino's body gradually radiated weak dark energy, which made the plants here rejuvenate. This level of dark energy shouldn't be a problem. Tsukino repaired the nearby plants while calculating her own dark energy peak. After all, someone was watching them from a distance, and it would be bad if they were discovered. As they walked on the street, they helped the nearby trees to restore their original state, which was considered as the etiquette of being a guest on this planet. Not long after, Tsukino stomach made a strange sound, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Really, you were busy arguing with Luna and came down without eating. Mozo scolded him in his clothes. Sometimes you really don't know how to understand other people's difficulties. Tsukino smiled helplessly. He just did things in the way he thought was right. Now is not the time to talk about this. If I go back now, Luna will scold me. I'd better wait a little longer before going back. For those who run away from home, everyone's attitude is generally strange. People who have been away for less than half a day will be scolded after returning. But after disappearing for a day or two or even longer at a time, they will be asked about their well-being by their family when they return. Tsukino knew this very well, so she simply stayed down there for a longer time, so that she would not be scolded too much. That being said, eating is indeed an urgent problem. I don't want to starve to death here. Tsukino touched her stomach and said, now I'd better find a store as soon as possible and find a way to get something to eat. As she spoke, she looked around to find a suitable place to eat. Soon, he found a Cherokee ramen shop with the help of the aroma. It was not the peak time for eating, so there were not many customers in the ramen shop, but the boss, the handmaid uncle, was still making noodles and mixing soup. Oh, there are customers here. They are really dressed in ancient style. The handmaid uncle put down the soup spoon in his hand. What do you want to eat? Give me anything. Tsukino didn't know what was here, so she could only let others arrange it. Hearing this, the handmaid uncle smiled bitterly. You are embarrassing me. Then I will make you a bowl of signature ramen. He took out a large bowl and put a portion of cooked high gluten noodles on it, and then scooped up the pork bone broth that had been stewed to golden brown from the pot next to it and poured it on the noodles. Then he cut a soft boiled egg and placed it on the edge of the soup, and then put in the cooked spring bamboo shoots, Naruto rolls, Chinese cabbage, seaweed and kelp, and finally put 3 thick pieces of pork in front of Tsukino. Seeing this bowl of ramen with good color, aroma, and taste, Tsukino couldn't help it anymore, picked up the chopsticks next to her and started eating. Seeing the child eating so happily, Uncle Ichiraku also smiled. Making the guests eat well is his greatest pursuit in this life. Not long after, Tsukino had drunk the noodle soup clean, put down the bowl with satisfaction and exclaimed, I have never eaten such delicious food. Haha, thank you for your praise. Ichiraku stretched out his hand to him. 790 yuan. The scene was quiet in an instant. In Tsukinolika's impression, there was no such thing as currency because he had never used it in his life. Looking at this embarrassing scene, the boss said uncertainly, "Little customer, you didn't bring any money, did you?" Tsukinolika nodded, feeling her face getting hot. "Did you have to pay for food?" "Forget it, I won't pursue it this time." I'll tuck away the bowl he had eaten clean. "You must bring money when you eat in the future." Looking at his embarrassed look, Yael suddenly remembered a little kid who used to eat and drink here. Anyway, he didn't need these few hundred yuan, so he just regarded it as a good relationship. "Well, thank you, boss." Tsukinolika hurriedly thanked him, and then turned around and left the store. Just after walking out of the door, he breathed a sigh of relief. Do I have to pay for food? I'd better find a way to make some money, otherwise I'll be embarrassed. Unknowingly, he walked to the commercial street. At this moment, someone suddenly called him from behind. "Little brother, are you free now? Are you calling me?" Tsukinolika turned around and looked at the source of the sound and found that it was a female boss who was panting and carrying some boxes. "Yes, it's you. There's no one else around here." The boss pointed to a nearby truck and said, "My clerk is not here for the time being. Come and help me. I'll pay you." "That's a deal." Luka Tsukino didn't want to care, but after hearing the word salary, she understood the meaning of the word and changed her mind. After spending several hours, they finally moved all the things into the warehouse in the store, which made him exhausted. Luka Tsukino wiped the sweat from his head and sighed. "Really, if we used dark energy, we would have done it by now. I didn't expect that you are so strong, little brother. You can do more than some adults." The boss walked up to him and looked at him with a smile. "So how much do you want to be paid?" This. Luka Tsukino herself was not very clear, but tentatively said, 790 yuan. "How about it?" Hearing this number, the boss was stunned for a moment and then suddenly laughed. 790 yuan? Are you sure you want this amount of reward? Isn't it a bit too much? Luka Tsukino said a little uncertainly because he thought this number was actually quite large. "Okay, I'll give you this much." The boss accurately took out 790 yen and handed it to him. "But this price is really not worth the work you did. Why don't I give you another set of clothes?" After watching him put the money away, she took Luka into her store. "Your clothes look like they are from hundreds of years ago, and they are torn. How about coming here to choose a set?" Chapter 566 New Clothes. This store is the best clothing store in this town. Although it is limited to this town, there are indeed a lot of things here. Luka Tsukino looked at the dazzling array of clothes here and didn't know what to take. The boss saw the child's confusion and smiled and took out a set of long-sleeved shorts. "Little brother, what do you think of this set?" Luka carefully examined the clothes in front of her and hesitated. "It should be okay. I'm not sure. After all, they have lived on this planet for thousands of years, and their clothes only have one style, so they really don't know how other clothes look when worn. Just looking at it is not enough." The boss pushed him into the locker room. "You should try it on." In the locker room, Luka looked at the clothes and thought to herself, "It looks good, but will it be uncomfortable to wear?" The clothes in front of her are a shirt and shorts similar to Nobita and the others, which are the most common clothes for children nowadays. But compared to their tailor-made clothes, whether the size of this clothes fits is indeed a problem. "Don't worry about the size, kid. My eyes are very accurate. I can tell at a glance what size you are." The shop owner kindly reminded her outside, but Tsukinolika was startled by her. "Are you eavesdropping on me outside? That's too much." Sorry, because I really want to know what you think of the clothes, so I couldn't help but want to listen." The boss apologized again and again. "I'll leave right away. Please don't mind this detail." After that, there was a sound of footsteps, and the boss did leave here, and Tsukinolika also breathed a sigh of relief. "Haha, Luka, you're blushing." The little turtle Mozo popped up. "You who have always been against Sister Luna, you are embarrassed because of a woman." Tsukinolika was embarrassed and angry, and grabbed Mozo. "Listen to me, she and Luna are not the same type at all. Okay, I'm going to change clothes now. Because if you want to move here, it is best to use clothes from Earth. Their clothes are always too conspicuous." After a while, Tsukinolika appeared in the clothing store wearing a brand new suit. "How do you think it looks now?" Mozo expressed his approval. Not bad. Although the materials of these earth clothes are not as good as the previous ones, the appearance is indeed much better looking. Even from the perspective of the Kaguya people, you are a handsome guy. The store owner also ran over. Very good. It seems that the clothes I picked for you are very suitable for you. Huh. The boss suddenly saw the piece of cloth on his head. Why do you still have a piece of cloth wrapped around your head? It doesn't look good. Let me take it off for you. As he spoke, the boss hand had reached out to Tsukino Luka's hair, ready to take off the piece of cloth. Luka Tsukino suddenly became nervous. Well, forget it. For some reason, I don't want to take it off for the time being. Please understand. Why? Normal people generally don't wrap cloth strips on their heads. Is there something unspeakable? The shop owner stood there and thought for a while. Since you don't want to take it off, then I won't force you. By the way, I'll give you another good thing. After that, the boss walked to the side and rummaged through the boxes. Strange. I remember that the original collection should be placed here. Luka Tsukino also breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the boss did not insist. Otherwise he really didn't know how to fool him. After all, there is a pair of rabbit ears under the rags. Found it. This is it. The boss took out a purple hat. This is a commemorative baseball cap that was specially released when the Little Tigers won the championship some time ago. Although it is not very expensive, it is very collectible. I specially kept a few of them, just in time to use them. She put the hat in Luka Tsukino's hand and said, since you have a hat, I'll give you the jacket as well. Before she finished speaking, the boss ran to the warehouse to rummage through the boxes and cabinets. Little brother, wait for me. I'll find it for you right away. Luka took advantage of her departure and quickly took off the rags on her head and used this purple hat to cover her ears. This way it doesn't look so abrupt, and compared with the current earthlings, there is no difference. Soon the boss found a purple and white baseball jacket and put it on Luka. Not bad. It looks even cuter than before. Luka Tsukino couldn't stand it. This female boss was really too enthusiastic, so she quickly found a reason to retreat. Thank you for the gift, boss, but I have something to do at home now, so I have to leave first. See you again. After saying that, he was about to leave the store with his original clothes. But at this moment, his stomach growled. Oh no, why at this time? After working all morning, his body was already exhausted. And now it was already 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so it was time to eat again. Tsukino Luka felt her hand tightened, and another long-sleeved hand had grabbed his wrist. Haha, I forgot. It's time to eat at this time. But no one has come to see you for so long. The boss suddenly appeared behind him. Are you running away from home? Tsukino Luka, who was touched by the heart, didn't know how to answer. Running away from home didn't seem to be a very glorious thing. Although he was more than 1,000 years old, his mind had not yet developed, and he didn't come into contact with many people, so his mind was basically no different from his appearance. How to support himself? After leaving the moon, he really didn't think about this problem seriously. It's okay, little brother. Since you haven't eaten yet, why don't we go eat together? The boss woke up her mother and went to a nearby restaurant with Luka Tsukino. She pushed the menu in front of Luka Tsukino. Whatever you want to eat, just order it yourself. Don't be polite to me. The old man also smiled and nodded. Yes, my child has no other skills, but he is very capable of making money. Thank you, then I won't be polite. Luka Tsukino took the menu and picked out a few cakes he usually eats and a bowl of thick soup. The two of them also ordered the food they wanted and then sat in their seats and waited quietly for the dishes to be served. Speaking of which, this morning was really strange. Not only did we have 2 solar eclipses, but we also encountered a tornado. It was really scary. The boss still had lingering fears when talking about this incident. I was nearby at the time. Fortunately, I grabbed the telephone pole, otherwise I might have been swept into the terrible hurricane. Yes, I have lived for so many years and experienced disasters of all sizes. I have even seen the lightning and singing some time ago, but this is the first time it is so close to me. The old man also felt a little scared. I really hope that this special situation will not happen again. Listening to their topic, Tsukino Luka also guessed that the psychological shadow area of these two people should not be too small. He had seen it with his own eyes when he came here. The power of the hurricane was enough to destroy houses and trees. It was indeed not something they could resist. After chatting for a while, they unknowingly talked about the topic of solar eclipses. Tsukinolika finally had the opportunity to ask her own question. Excuse me, do you believe that there are living things on the moon? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 567 Fallacy in Truth. After school, Nobita was packing up beside his seat, and Yasushi and Haruo ran to his side and jumped up and down. There are rabbits on the moon. Rabbits. Humph, you guys wait for me. I will definitely surprise you. Nobita was too lazy to talk nonsense with them, and angrily carried his school bag and prepared to ask Doraemon for help. And as he also put away his backpack and passed by Nobita. The contract for the purchase of the back mountain should be delivered today, right? Nobita suddenly called him. Wait a minute, Gian classmate. I have something to ask you. If it's the answer to today's homework, then forget it. And as he said casually, but he still stood there waiting for him to ask questions. It's like this. Are there really no rabbits on the moon? Nobita looked into his eyes seriously. If it was you, there should be a different answer, right? Hearing this, and as he couldn't help but be stunned for a moment. He had thought of many possibilities, but he had never thought that Nobita would ask this question. And whether there are creatures on the moon, hasn't this matter been determined long ago? Why do you still have to ask him? Unfortunately, as far as I know, there are no living creatures on the moon. And as he shook his head, at least I didn't see any living creatures when I went there the last few times. Hearing this, Action Junfei laughed. Haha, I didn't expect that classmate Yuan would also start talking nonsense. Yes, how can the current technology allow people to go to the moon, not to mention that you said you went there several times? Nobita smiled. The plan worked. As long as and as he was pulled in, their combat effectiveness would be improved by several levels. You two bastards laughed at me, but you dared to laugh at him. Do you think your life is too long? And he is not an ordinary person. How do you know whether he has been to the moon? Information asymmetry. As expected, and as he hugged the two people's necks with a gloomy face. Since you don't believe it, why don't I take you to the moon now? It will be very quick. No, let's forget it. The two waved their hands again and again. Let's not talk about whether they can go there at that time. At least he didn't say in his promise just now that he would send them back to Earth. After teaching the two a lesson, he left the classroom contentedly, while Nobita walked quickly to his room. Walking in the town, and as he looked at the nearby plants, strange, how come the trees that were destroyed this morning have recovered so quickly? The streets are now clean, and the dead branches and leaves nearby have regained vitality, looking nothing like they have experienced a hurricane. Back in front of his house, it is still the same as in the morning, with no signs of anyone visiting. Strange, haven't those people settled the contract today? And as he walked into the house, don't I say, the people here are too inefficient. But at this moment, the phone in the room below suddenly rang, and he hurried down to answer it. Hello, this is the Yuan family. Daisuke-kun, the contract you went to discuss with them yesterday has arrived. The voice of Izuki-san came from the other side of the microphone, and they brought a lot of things. Sorry, I forgot to tell them that I have moved. And as he slapped his head and remembered this key thing. After hanging up the phone, he rushed to Dekisugi's house and prepared to start the handover of the goods. In addition to the contract they brought, there were also a large number of spare parts and various materials. These were all the things that old man Ling wanted. I don't know what he would use them for. Ling Feng carefully checked the goods and nodded. Not bad. The number collected is more than I thought. By the way, are you really sure you can transform this thing? I always feel it's unreliable. And as he was still a little worried. After all, this guy is a magician after all. It's always a bit incongruous to want so many technological objects. Don't worry, I've been in your society for so many years, and I have learned a little bit of what you humans can do. He put away his things, and then the people from the Inagawa society went back. According to their agreement, the remaining money from the sale of diamonds is this, and you and as he doesn't plan to ask where it goes. Anyway, he has a lot of things of that size, and in his heart, diamonds have long been worthless. To them, it's just a bunch of carbon atoms. As long as Demission is willing, he can make a bunch of them at any time. But I believe that with Demission's character, he will definitely not choose to make money in this way. Then see you tomorrow. Yeah, and as he said goodbye to Demission, Zyadishin also nodded. Well, see you tomorrow. Nobita returned to the room. Doraemon was thinking hard around the chessboard, holding a Go introductory book in his hand. Doraemon, now please answer me seriously. Are there really rabbits on the moon? What did you say? Doraemon was stunned for a half beat. Are there rabbits on the moon? Are you serious? The blue fat man looked at Nobita's extremely serious eyes, and then suddenly burst into laughter. Nobita is really funny. Ha ha ha, there are rabbits on the moon. Doraemon laughed and threw his book aside. Nobita is really worthy of saying that. He rolled on the ground while laughing, and a nearby chessboard and teacup were overturned by him. He couldn't stop laughing. Ah, I didn't expect that you are so old, but still full of innocence, Nobita. After finally laughing enough, Doraemon sat up and wiped away his tears with his hands. Even you want to make fun of me? My best friend also thinks I'm a fool. It's too much. Nobita stood up angrily and questioned Doraemon. Shouldn't you support me at this time? This is what a friend should do. Hearing this, Doraemon's old face suddenly blushed. It was indeed wrong for him to say that. It was indeed wrong to make fun of a child's most innocent dream. Sorry, it's my fault. Doraemon stood up seriously. In fact, Nobita, you can't say that you are completely wrong. Maybe there are really rabbits on the moon. Don't say these insincere words to comfort me. I have confirmed it. Nobita walked to the side depressedly, found a place to sit down and sulk. Unless you let me go to the moon and take a look, I will always believe that there are rabbits on the moon. Doraemon thought for a while and asked, Nobita, do you know that the earth has always been revolving around the sun? Nobita turned his head and blushed. Don't insult me with such a stupid question. Isn't this a well-known fact? I didn't mean that. You know, a long time ago, people generally believed that the sun revolved around the earth. Doraemon began to reach out and prepare to take props from his pocket. This time he should be able to give Nobita a big surprise. At that time, the heliocentric theory was considered a fallacy. But after the efforts of a large number of scientists, the fallacy of the past has become the truth. So you may not be wrong to say that there are rabbits on the moon, and this badge can turn your imagination into real reality. Chapter 568. The earth is round and the earth is square. When Nobita heard about this prop, he instantly became interested. What, is there really a prop that can make a rabbit appear on the moon? Yes, it's this magical prop, the badge of the Heresy Club. Doraemon put the red and white badge in Nobita's hand. There are many people in the world, and everyone has various ideas. As long as you wear this badge, you will become an agreeer of your ideas. Agreeer of my ideas. Nobita still didn't understand. Can you be more specific? Doraemon nodded. Of course, no problem. For example, the earth is round and revolves around the sun. This is common sense that even Nobita knows. Hey, explain it to me clearly. What do you mean even I know? Nobita was immediately unhappy. How much do you look down on him? Don't be angry, I'm just giving an example. Doraemon also stood up and started to pack up the chess pieces. But before this truth was confirmed, the heliocentric theory was considered a fallacy, and another theory occupied everyone's mind, that is, the school called geocentrism. This touched Nobita's blind spot in knowledge. He had indeed never heard of what heliocentrism was, and the scene instantly became quiet. I knew you didn't know about this. Doraemon smiled. The view of geocentrism is that the sun has always been revolving around the earth. Nobita's face instantly showed a surprised expression. There are people who believe in such a ridiculous thing. Too naive, right? Not only that, people at that time also believed that the earth was flat. In addition to the sun, the entire universe actually revolves around the earth. Hahaha, people in the past were so stupid that they even believed in such things. Nobita laughed instantly, and his expression was almost the same as Doraemon just now. You are really a crow laughing at a pig. The blue fat man was speechless instantly. This guy's position changed so quickly. Being a spy is definitely the best material. Don't laugh. After all, until last year, you humans were the only known intelligent creatures in the universe. It's normal to think this way. As for why until last year, it was because they encountered the drifting space fleet last year. Seeing that this guy didn't repent, Doraemon had to take out the microphone of the heterodox club. The geocentric theory is correct. As soon as the voice fell, the frames on both sides of the microphone began to spin wildly, gradually turning into a layer of pink shell. Okay, Nobita, now you put on the badge. Doraemon held his hand and signaled him to hurry up. I'll take you to see the world of heliocentrism. Nobita put on the badge of the heterodox club doubtfully, and Doraemon also put on the badge, and then took out the anywhere door. Okay, now you are a member who believes in geocentrism. While speaking, he opened the anywhere door. Now let's go to the end of the world together to take a look. The end of the world? Isn't the world round? How can there be an end? Nobita still didn't believe this fact. The concept of heliocentrism was deeply rooted in his heart. Doraemon pushed him forward. Okay, if I say there is, there is. Anyway, I will definitely open your eyes. The two broke into the world of the arbitrary door, and then saw a scene completely different from the real world. On the other side of the arbitrary door, the world has an edge, and the ocean pours down from the continental fracture, and it is unknown when it will stop. And there is also a round cover in the sky, isolating the inside and outside of the world, protecting the continuation and development of human civilization. Look, this is the geocentric world, the world where the sky is round and the earth is square. Doraemon pointed to the edge of the ocean with a proud look on his face. This is not a fantasy world, this is real, and it is the same principle as the telephone booth, a new world formed by human beings' long-term expectations of the world. So this is the geocentric world? It feels so fantastic in an instant. And the edge of this world is too beautiful, isn't it? Nobita looked at the waterfall in the distance and was deeply attracted by this kind of beauty that is unique in the world. But on the sea, a ship seemed to have no boundaries and was still slowly approaching the edge of the world. Doraemon, look over there. Nobita quickly grabbed the blue fat man's hand. The ship is about to fall. Think of a way. Doraemon was not worried at all. Don't worry, only we can see this world. If you don't believe it, take off the badge. Ah, is that so? Nobita took off his badge doubtfully, and the world in his eyes really returned to normal. The direction of the ship's travel was no longer the edge of the world, but the normal sea surface, and there was no danger in front of it. Ah, this badge is really magical. As long as I have it, I can create any ideal world. As he spoke, Nobita put on the badge of the Heresy Club again, and the whole world once again became round and square, and the ship just now had completely disappeared. Doraemon, what happened to the ship when I was away for a while? It didn't really fall off, did it? Yes, because this is a geocentric world, the ship will naturally fall off the edge of the world. This is the law of the world. Doraemon didn't hesitate. This is the cruelty of the geocentric world, so you should cherish your original world even more. Nobita nodded with some regret, but didn't dwell on it too much. Anyway, they were harmonious in the original world. Then he and the blue fat man flew towards the cover above. So what's the situation with this sky? Will it stop us from going out? Yes. The function of this barrier is very similar to the atmosphere on the Earth. It will block meteorites, ultraviolet rays and other substances harmful to the Earth and humans from the outside world. Of course, the corresponding difficulty for us humans to leave here is also greatly increased, so it has a certain inhibitory effect on science. Doraemon touched the sky with his hand. So, this thing is both the protector of mankind and the biggest enemy on the road to mankind's progress. Nobita also tried to touch the barrier. This unknown energy wall has a solid body, but the temperature is very low, and there should be a risk of frostbite. After playing here for a while, the two flew back to the sea, and went home through the arbitrary door. Yeah, it's fun to play in different worlds. Nobita pointed to his badge. I didn't expect that one day I could see the world of geocentrism. Doraemon took off his badge. Yes, this prop is specially prepared for those who have different ideas. That's really suitable for me. Nobita took off the badge on his chest and prepared to start imagining different worlds. So now I want to experience the world with Nozuchi. How about that? I'm so excited. Should I just talk to this? Really, why are you getting carried away again? Doraemon shouted, have you forgotten that you want to prove that there are rabbits on the moon and that's why you want this prop from me? Hearing this, Nobita touched his head embarrassedly. Sorry, I did get a little carried away. Let's get started now. Chapter 569, Moon Transformation Plan. Nobita and Doraemon stood in front of the microphone of the Abnormal Club, looking solemn, ready to start their great project today. But Nobita was still a little worried and asked, Doraemon, what should I say later? Just say that the place where the rabbits live is on the back of the moon. Doraemon gave Nobita a popular science. For now, humans cannot set foot on the back of the moon, so it is most convenient to make unknown places into abnormalities. Hearing this, Nobita shouted into the microphone, there is air on the back of the moon. Doraemon also added, and the environment is suitable for the survival of organisms. The machine received the abnormality and began to rotate rapidly from the original forbidden state. The lights in the club flickered in Nobita's room. The abnormality was successful. The two smiled at each other, turned around and opened the random door together. Let's go to the back of the moon now. The random door opened, and the situation behind was far different from what Nobita usually saw. The ground was full of potholes, forming countless craters of different sizes. The ground was grayish white, which made people feel a strange sense of fear. If you look at it for a long time, you may even feel that your mind is a little confused. Doraemon, is this the backside of the moon? Nobita was a little unconvinced. No wonder they said no living creatures would live here. Although I know you are a little disappointed, this is indeed the backside of the moon that has troubled scientists for centuries, so just accept it. The blue fat man covered his mouth and smiled. Now you are one of the first people to witness the backside of the moon. You should remember this moment well and go back and brag about it to your son for the rest of your life. That's true. And you can move around here without wearing a spacesuit and you won't feel weightless. Is this the role of the Heresy Club? Nobita began to observe the surrounding environment, and Doraemon explained for him, because you said there is air here, that's why it's like this. Doraemon, look there. The size of that crater is very suitable for a kingdom belonging to rabbits. Nobita took Doraemon's hand. Let's go there to realize our wish and let rabbits exist on the moon. Hand in hand, the two rushed towards the giant crater in the distance. This size should be rare on the moon. Hey, the gravity here doesn't seem to have changed. Nobita tried to jump. Why do I remember that the book said that the gravity on the moon is only 1/6 of that on the earth? It's all because of the badge of the Abnormal Club. Because they have to adapt to the survival of organisms, they have adjusted to the same level as us. Doraemon still patiently explained to him. Okay, Nobita, this is the Rabbit Kingdom you chose, right? Nobita and Doraemon stood on the rock and looked down at the land. This crater should have a diameter of about 10 kilometers, which should be more than enough for a small kingdom of animals. Doraemon, don't you think it's a little too hot here now? And my skin is a little uncomfortable now. Nobita grabbed his skin that was not covered by clothes with his hands, and it seemed to feel a little itchy, and there was a faint tingling sensation. Sorry, I forgot. Doraemon immediately took out the prop, launch dome. Without time to explain the function, he took the prop and flew to the center of the Rabbit Kingdom and quickly pulled the zipper next to the launch dome. A few seconds later, a colorful light rose into the sky. Doraemon returned to Nobita wearing the bamboo dragonfly and said, although there is air here, it still cannot completely block the ultraviolet rays of sunlight. And the distance to the sun in the moon is relatively close, and the rotation period is different, so the maximum and minimum temperatures are also very different. These are not completely immune after the air, but they are not unbearable. Then, Doraemon pointed to the colorful light in the sky and said, the launch dome I'm using now can completely eliminate these problems. As soon as the voice fell, the colorful light exploded in the sky and turned into a curtain like the sky dome before, covering the entire surface of the crater. Sure enough, when the dome covered this place, the tingling sensation on Nobita's body had completely disappeared, but it was still a little hot now. Don't be too anxious, the excess heat will dissipate quickly and will not affect everyone's activities. Then he took out a large number of arbitrary faucets. Now put these things here. The first step to create life is to have a water source. Nobita nodded, and Doraemon and he installed the arbitrary faucets nearby. Thus, the first river on the moon was born. Okay, now in order to make the light source here stable, we still need to make some plants. Doraemon took out another bottle of props, luminous moss. This thing multiplies very quickly, and only a little bit can quickly cover a large area of the ground. After that, Doraemon poured the whole bottle of luminous moss into the land on the moon. Hey, Doraemon, didn't you say that only a little bit would be enough? Nobita pointed at the blue fat man, with a speechless face. Then why did you pour all the moss in a bottle? Because the area here is very large, it is more convenient to have more luminous moss, which can save time. The blue fat man didn't mind Nobita's ridicule. As the moss seeds fell to the ground, the light began to spread from Doraemon's feet. In just a few dozen seconds, it had completely covered the entire crater. Wow, this thing works really well. Nobita looked at the bright distance and was still a little dissatisfied, but there are still some other things that are better. Don't worry, I'm ready. Sprinkle the seeds of this quick growing plant, and you'll see the results tomorrow. The two took a bag of seeds and took the bamboo dragonfly to separate. Nobita looked at the seeds sprinkled on the ground, and green sprouts had already grown underneath. It can be seen that they are indeed quick growing plants. Doraemon's props are really magical. Nobita thought as he sprinkled them, this time the kingdom will definitely surprise them. After a while, the originally grey and white ground was already covered with tender sprouts, and the two successfully gathered at the starting point. Okay, now there is only one last step to work. Nobita looked at Doraemon expectantly. Don't worry, I know. Doraemon began to reach into his pocket. Let's make creatures now. Nobita, you will soon be able to make the moon rabbit you have been looking forward to. On the earth below, and as he looked at the old manling next to him, how about it? You already have an idea for transformation? No, now I can only increase the hardness of the equipment. There are many very important magic metal parts missing. Ling Feng shook his head. These metals can only make him some harder bullets, but there are no better parts for the gun to be transformed. And it is best to change the gunpowder driven bullets to energy driven, so that the power of this thing can really threaten the gods at the same level as him. It seems that I have to find some better parts, and power is also a problem. And as he thought to himself, I don't know when I can get the materials. Chapter 570, Resurrection Monsoon. Okay, my first work. Nobita handed the rabbit he made to Doraemon. Look at the rabbit I made. The blue fat man looked at the doll in Nobita's hand with hope, and then his face fell. How could this thing be made like a monster? Seeing Doraemon's expression, Nobita smiled embarrassedly. I'm really not very good at handicrafts. That's right, your last work is really fresh in my memory. Doraemon hit him mercilessly. Soon, he suddenly slapped his head. By the way, although we can't make this thing, I remember that there are people nearby who are very good at making this clay handicraft. Yes, why didn't I think of it? Nobita also remembered that and as he is next to their house now. Let's go. It will be very interesting to let and join our plan. Nobita and Doraemon immediately ran to the arbitrary door. And he's a magician. Maybe he can bring us some surprises, like making plants take shape quickly. Yes, I remember he used this magic before. Nobita also remembered that it was the last time he asked Dio to pull weeds. That time, they were really in trouble. Just ordinary weeds could make it grow quickly to a height of one person. What if the weeds that can be found everywhere are replaced with these special quick forming seeds? How fast can they grow? The two took out the random door and went directly to and Daz's room. Student Yuyuan, we have something to find you. But as soon as the door opened, a Gatling gun barrel was mercilessly aimed at their heads, scaring them half to death. So it's you. You scared me. And Daz he put away the modified Gatling gun in his hand. If you have anything to say, just say it quickly. The two silently wiped the cold sweat from their foreheads. Isn't this guy from the magic side? Is he planning to change his career to the technology side? We do need your help. Doraemon calmed down and said, Nobita was laughed at today, so we built a rabbit base on the back of the moon. After listening to their explanation of the cause and effect, Yu and Dazi nodded and said, I see. Of course, no problem, it's just a small matter. Then he looked at the world behind the portal. Speaking of which, you are on the back of the moon, why doesn't the air here flow over? Didn't I say that? Our theory is that there is air on the moon, and it is suitable for the survival of organisms. Doraemon handed him a badge of theory. It's hard to explain this, you can take this, and come and see for yourself. Seeing this prop, Yu and Dazi was also very curious. He remembered that it should be used on the underground people in the original work, so how did it become raising rabbits on the back of the moon? After wearing the badge, Yu and Dazi walked into the portal, and the world in his eyes became different in an instant. Did you guys make all this here? The glowing plants on the ground should be glowing mosses, right? I remember using them last time in the underground city. Yu and Dazi looked around. The light and temperature here were very comfortable, and it was already a place where people could live. Nobita and Doraemon looked at each other in surprise. What underground city? Why don't we have any impression of it? Oh, sorry, I forgot that I erased your memories for safety reasons. Yu and Dazi waved his hand and transmitted his memories of the underground city to them in a third-person perspective. I thought I found a monster below, so I erased your memory. Sorry. Yu and Dazi apologized casually, but the two of them were even more dissatisfied. TSK, no sincerity in your apology. Doraemon also remembered. No wonder. I remember that I should have bought 2 cans of this luminous moss. The two of them regained some memories, and then Doraemon pointed to the land. Then compensate us. How about awakening the plants here? Yu and Dazi took a look at the situation here. The radius of this kingdom is as large as 5 kilometers. Casting magic in such a large range is a big burden even for Yu and Dazi now. The last time he blew up an island similar to this range, it was achieved through magic patterns. Otherwise he would not be able to do it in a short time. Therefore, Yu and Dazi did not rush to agree, but stretched out his hand to inject a little vitality into the land and began to observe the plants here. Soon, the plants below suddenly jumped up and instantly grew to a height of almost 2 meters. Nobita looked at this strange thing with a look of disdain. Hey, so the seeds Doraemon planted here are bamboos? Why not carrots, which are the favorite of rabbits? Nonsense, because bamboo grows the fastest. How can other plants be transformed so easily? And a towering old tree also puts a lot of pressure on the land. Okay. Ignoring their noise, Yu and Dazi nodded and agreed. No problem, I'll take this job. According to the magic power just injected, a little life magic can make the bamboo grow about 2 meters, and the cost is very small. It is indeed a transformed plant. Even if this range is expanded to a radius of 5 kilometers, the magic power spent is at most equivalent to the magic power used to blow up the island last time, which is within his tolerance. Then Yu and Dazi summoned the Archangel's staff and chanted the spell, Life Magic, Reviving Monsoon. The surrounding wind element were mixed with a large amount of life force and quickly spread around with Yu and Dazi as the center. Wherever the light green breeze passed, all the young shoots were awakened and began to move rapidly upwards. Wow, so amazing. Is this magic? Nobita felt that the wind around him seemed very warm, and even his body seemed to be growing taller. Doraemon was also thoughtful. Is this the principle of your ability to quickly heal other people's bodies? I guess so. The types of magic are the same, but the energy contained in them has some subtle differences. Yu and Dazi also explained it to Nobita on a whim. Not long after, the breeze full of vitality had blown throughout the entire crater, and all the bamboos had grown to more than 2 meters high. Amazing. It only took more than a minute. Doraemon was surprised and couldn't close his mouth. Even if it is a quick forming seed, it's a bit too fast, right? Yu and Dazi put away his magic wand. Okay, I remember you asked me to come here to make a rabbit, right? Yes, this is animal clay. Doraemon took the initiative to hand his clay bucket to Dazi. He looked at the clay in front of him and suddenly felt a little emotional. After I make something out of it, will I be as famous as Newer? We both use clay to create creatures. Ah, just dream on. Ling Feng was very disdainful of Yu and Dazi's idea. You want to reach the level of the Saint Newer, but you are still 1,000 years too early. You are still thinking about these unrealistic things at such a young age. Hey, how can you curse at me, old man? This is a dirty word, and old people and children should not say it casually. While arguing with old man Lingfeng, Yu and Dazi picked up the animal clay and began to use his mental power to make a rabbit. Chapter 571 Gathering at the Back Mountain. A few minutes later, Yu and Dazi placed a Bugs Bunny with long legs in front of them. How is it? Isn't this bunny cute? Well, actually, I think we only need an ordinary rabbit. The two looked at his lifelike work and didn't know what to say. TSK, you really don't know what's good. Dazi threw the Bugs Bunny aside and picked up the clay again. A few minutes later, he took out a work that was almost the same as an ordinary rabbit. Now, are you satisfied? Looking at the pink little rabbit, the two were stunned for a moment and then immediately knelt down. Wow, can the clay craft really reach this level? It's exactly the same as the real one. Outsiders can't tell the difference between the real and fake rabbits. Yeah, if I hadn't watched him make it, I wouldn't believe that this is a clay rabbit. The two of them complimented Yu and Dazi one by one and made him feel at a loss. It's too exaggerated. It's not as great as you say. Nobita handed the clay to him again. Make another one. One rabbit is really too lonely. No problem, make a few more. I have time anyway. The happy Yu and Dazi immediately agreed and made more than a dozen without realizing it. It's enough. It's enough. No need to do it anymore. Doraemon quickly put away the clay bucket. It's getting late on Earth now. You should go back to make dinner, right? The two of them had to go. If they didn't go back so late, then they couldn't stand their mother's demon form. Yu and Dazi nodded. That's right. If we don't go back now, King Guy will make a fuss again. Hearing this, the two of them breathed a sigh of relief and sent Yu and Dazi back through the portal. I had a great time today. Yu and Dazi took off his badge. What is the principle of this prop? I wanted to stay here for a while to see how the prop works, but it still doesn't work. As he spoke, Yu and Dazi walked towards the kitchen downstairs. I always feel that this prop will be of great use to my future development. No one reminded him of this prop, but his intuition told him that this prop contained the rules he needed. However, after returning to the room, this feeling disappeared. I don't know if it was because he left the rule creation. After all, due to the reason they set up the heresy, the badge of the heresy club is only effective on the moon and has no effect on the earth. While thinking, Yu and Dazi opened the refrigerator. Hey, has the meat of the segmented insects been eaten by that kid? Yes, with the increase of physical strength, his food consumption has increased a lot now. The spirit of the soul-devouring monument also floated over, and now he began to worry about the food of these two people. Yu and Dazi is okay, he can use magic to maintain his body functions, but King Gaiu is different. Now King Gaiu's ability mainly comes from the body. If he is in a state of hunger, then his strength will decline madly. Moreover, he is in the rising period of strength. If there is no way to provide stable food, then his strength improvement will also be limited. King Gaiu is still training now. You go and help catch a worm. I may have to consider expanding the scale of breeding. I know, I will expand the planting area of snow bamboo at that time. But sometimes I really think that the back mountain is an omnipotent mysterious place. Yu and Dazi picked up his clothes and walked to the back mountain to prepare today's dinner. We had so much fun today. Nobita and Doraemon returned to the room. The kingdom should be ready tomorrow, right? The blue fat man nodded. Yu and Dazi made a lot of rabbits today. Judging from their reproduction speed, tomorrow is indeed enough. Speaking of which, it's almost 6 o'clock now. I wonder if mom has prepared dinner? Nobita and Doraemon walked downstairs. Will there be beef for dinner today? I'm looking forward to it. When they came to the first floor, their mother came out and called them. You are finally back. I just happen to have something for you to do today. We will have dinner after you come back. As she said that, her mother took out a pair of scissors and a wallet from behind. 2 things, buy dumplings and pick silver grass, you can choose. Nobita was immediately in trouble when he looked at the things in front of him. He didn't want to do either of them. But if he had to choose one, he would choose to buy dumplings, and he could also get some pocket money. Just when he was about to reach out for his wallet, a round hand suddenly snatched it away. I'm going to buy some dumplings. Damn it, Doraemon, you're so cunning. Nobita stamped his feet in anger as he looked at his back. This guy must want to use his pocket money to buy some dorayaki while buying dumplings. Why can't I get such a good thing? Mom smiled and handed the scissors to Nobita. Then the matter of picking silver grass is left to you, Nobita. But where is the silver grass around here? I haven't seen it for so long. Nobita muttered unhappily. The silver grass is on the back hill. You must know it. After all, you used to like running to the back hill when you had nothing to do. Mom said as she stuffed the scissors into his hand. Come back soon. We are waiting for you to finish your meal. Seeing that his mother had said so much, Nobita had no choice but to take the scissors. Really, the back mountain is so far from home. He still muttered to himself in dissatisfaction. Now I just hope Doraemon will buy me some snacks after buying dumplings. Nobita walked to the back mountain. At this time, a sign prohibiting entry was put up here. I don't know who did it. He took off the irresponsible sign casually and complained. Really, this is everyone's place. Why would someone put up this thing? Now the boss has stopped the development plan of the back mountain and has not issued an official notice in the town saying that the back mountain is prohibited from entering. This sign was obviously written by someone casually, not a formal document printed out, so he thought it was a prank. But what he didn't know was that this was a sign set up by Yu and Dazzy for everyone's safety. The back mountain now is no longer the back mountain before. The queen of the segmented insect has gradually taken shape. Now Yu and Dazzy must expand the scale of breeding, otherwise the snow bamboo land will not meet the needs of the insects. Of course, if he wants, he can kill the queen, but he can't do it now. Because of King Gaio and his own needs, it is only a matter of time before the scale expands. No one can blame him on his territory. Nobita quickly found the silver grass on the back hill and picked up the scissors. Really, I ran so far for a few silver grasses. Click, click. The sound of the scissors was very pleasant. Nobita cut a few silver grasses, stood up and looked at the town below. Come to think of it, I haven't come here to see the scenery for a long time. A smile appeared on his face. In fact, it's not a bad thing to come here occasionally when you are in a good mood. Chapter 570 to Terrible Humans. The breeze blew, the gold and silver grass swayed, and the straws collided with each other and made a rustling sound. Nobita subconsciously looked upwind, but saw a boy in a purple baseball jacket. Thinking on it, people on Earth really don't have any hope for our existence. Atsukinolika was a little sad. No one is willing to believe in our existence. The adults nowadays have already regarded these as fairy tales. Atsukinolika reached out to take off her baseball cap. Is living on the moon our destiny? Hey, are you here to pick silver grass too? A childish voice suddenly sounded, and Tsukinolika suddenly woke up from her meditation. He realized that there was a little boy standing so close to him, holding some plants in his hands. No. Tsukinolika suddenly remembered. I seemed to be taking off my hat just now. I wonder if he saw it? After a simple thought, he immediately made a decision. Regardless of whether the child saw his ears or not, he would leave here first. Tsukino waved his hand, and other energy burst out from his body instantly, forming a strong wind that swept the entire field of silver grass. My eyes. Nobita felt something strange coming from his eyes, and subconsciously closed his eyes. Did some dust fly into my eyes just now? Tsukino took the opportunity to use other energy to fly into the woods, found a place to hide, and quietly waited for Nobita's reaction. After his eyes finally returned to normal, Nobita hurriedly looked around. What happened just now? Why did the wind suddenly blow? But no one here answered him, as if he was the only one here from the beginning. Looking around, there was nothing unusual, and Nobita could only think that the child just now didn't want to talk to him. Forget it, I'd better go back quickly. Nobita stood up with silver grass and scissors. If I go back now, the dinner made by my mother should not be cold, but it's a little far away, alas. Nobita turned around and prepared to run down the mountain, but he suddenly felt a slight vibration coming from the ground, and the source of the earthquake was approaching rapidly. What happened this time? Nobita squatted down quickly. Could it be that Doraemon is using the disaster training machine to play tricks on me? First he encountered a strong wind, and then an earthquake. The continuous abnormal situation made him suspicious. Although Doraemon is usually not so boring, it is not certain. You know, Doraemon is not an easy person to deal with. Nobita? Why are you here? Zimian suddenly stopped not far behind Nobita. Didn't I put up a sign prohibiting entry at the entrance of the mountain? Didn't you see it? What? Why do you want to close the back mountain? What qualifications do you have to do it? Nobita's anger rose instantly. He stood up and turned around to face Yu and Daisuke. I tell you, isn't this the long worm? At this time, Yu and Daisuke was stepping on a huge worm, about 1 meter wide and more than 10 meters long, with a thick armor on his body that made people despair. What frightened Nobita the most was the 2 teeth on its head that were ready to move. The teeth, like pliers, moved slightly, and it seemed that they had a great appetite for creatures like Nobita. In the distance, Tsukinolika also covered her mouth tightly. Just now, he used the ether energy to feel it a little bit and found that the vitality of this insect was so strong that it was terrifying. And the child standing on him, although he didn't look abnormal, the ether energy couldn't even get close to the other's body. What a joke. Is there such a terrifying monster in this mountain? I have been here for so long. Now he didn't dare to make a sound. If he was discovered by the monster or the people above, he might not be able to escape from their hands. Of course, if he was willing to desperately burst out the ether beyond the limit, then the result might be a more dignified death. Oh, you are talking about this. And as he stomped his feet lightly, this insect is a dinner for the next 2 days. Any opinions? Nobita shook his head desperately. Are you kidding? What opinions does he dare to have about this? If he has any opinions, he will probably become dinner. Okay, let's not talk about this for now. Yu and Daisuke suddenly jumped down from above. Did you see anyone suspicious here just now? Hearing this question, Dakshin nodded. Of course. Just now there was a little boy about our age. I wanted to talk to him, but he suddenly disappeared. Yu and Daisuke pondered. He did feel an unusual breath here just now. And because of the protest incident some time ago, Yu and Daisuke was in a state of nervousness, so he naturally couldn't let go of this suspicious energy. So he came to investigate. Dakshin, can you explain it in more detail? Yu and Daisuke looked at him. I need more complete information. Originally, he could use his mental power to detect the area, but after experiencing the Medusa incident, he valued his soul very much. What if the other party just wanted him to release his mental power, so that he could take the opportunity to severely damage his soul? Then wouldn't his action of exploring the surroundings be exactly what the enemy wanted? Oh, let me think about it. Nobita thought for a while and said, just now he waved his hand, and a gust of wind blew the sand into my eyes. When I opened my eyes again, he disappeared. And as he was speechless for a moment. Is this also called disappearing suddenly? It's obvious that he escaped during the time when you closed your eyes. He complained about Nobita in his heart, and the segmented insect next to him saw that this guy was distracted, and his eyes changed instantly. Good opportunity, you asked for it. The segmented insect retracted its teeth, and then turned into a residual shadow, and rushed into the woods. Haha, I don't want to go with you. None of the companions you captured during this period of time can come back. Tsukinolika panicked instantly, because the direction of the segmented insect's sprint was right next to him. Was he discovered? No matter what, now he had to silently prepare for the battle. Do I have to have a conflict with them on my first day here? Just as the segmented insect was about to step into the woods, an invisible gravity suddenly grabbed it. Really, it always causes trouble for me. Yu and Daisuke used gravity to manipulate the segmented insect to come in front of him. Let you have a good sleep. After saying that, Yu and Daisuke exerted force on his hand and hit the segmented insect's head with a knife. Crack. The heavy carapace on the segmented insect made a sound of being unable to bear the weight, and the cracks spread to its whole body in a very short time. As you can see, because the dinosaurs often run out of the breeding ground, I put up a sign below. He casually carried the insect that had lost its ability to move on his shoulder. For this reason, I even thought of a way to buy the back mountain. It's really troublesome. What? You bought the back mountain? That means this large area is all yours? Nobita was shocked instantly. Is Yu and Daisuke actually a local tyrant? Could it be that his parents are rich and he inherited billions? It's not impossible, is it? The two talked as they walked, and before they knew it, they had already reached the foot of the mountain. It turns out that someone threw my sign away. No wonder you didn't see it. He casually put the sign back up and then stood there. Nobita, you go back first. I still have some things to do. Chapter 573 Personality Correction. After they left, Luka Tsukino came out from behind the shade of the tree. Luckily they didn't find me. It was so scary. The bug just now was the scariest creature he had ever seen in his life. He really didn't want to think about it again. Come to think of it, that human just now seemed to treat bugs as food. Luka Tsukino was instantly upset. I wonder if there are other bugs on this mountain? He looked at the surrounding environment and suddenly felt that it was full of danger. What if there were still such bugs? Luka, this place is too dangerous. Let's go back quickly. Mozo popped his head out. If I were found by that guy, I probably wouldn't survive. Although his armor was very strong, he didn't think his body could withstand the corrosion of stomach acid. That's right. Luka Tsukino nodded. Let's go back quickly. I don't want to encounter it. They walked to the nearby platform and began to cool the aircraft under their feet, intending to use this thing to return to the moon. Turtle Mozo recited a bunch of spells that others couldn't understand, but there was no response from below them, and the spacecraft didn't rise. What's going on? The spaceship won't break down, will it? Mozo stomped on the ground angrily. Damn it, why is it at this time? We may really be trapped in this place. Tsukino Luka was also very speechless. Why did it happen at such a dangerous moment? Is it really God who doesn't want them to leave? Below, Yu and Daisy nodded with satisfaction. The protective magic pattern is finally arranged in order to prevent those guys from drilling into the ground at will and running to other territories. Yu and Daisy has also taken great pains. This protective magic pattern can cover the entire back mountain. Now the creatures in the back mountain can no longer dig caves with a diameter of more than 10 centimeters. It's finally over. Wait until the queen insect is born and the insect swarm is restricted before lifting the restrictions. He patted the dust on his hands. In this way, the back mountain should be quiet for a while. In addition to stabilizing the earth, this formation will also restrict others from entering the back mountain. People without permission cannot enter. All of this is done to protect everyone's safety. Of course, if someone comes out, there will be no restrictions. There are too many segmented insects now, and there is no restriction on the queen insect. Yu and Daisy and others are also restraining their appetite. When the queen insect is born in 2 or 3 days, they will go to enslave the queen insect and let her control the reproduction and range of activities of the insect race. Carrying the fainted segmented insect, the dark star cloak becomes larger and wraps their bodies. After experiencing the baptism of darkness, Yu and Daisy's body appeared at their doorstep. Hey, I'm back. Yu and Daisy threw the things on his shoulders aside. Kingai was still exercising. At this time, Kingai was in the yard. Ling Feng sat in front of him and said a lot of inspiring words, using words to reform his mind. Daisy walked over. Hey, both of you stop talking nonsense and come over to cook dinner together. No, it's meaningless, only if you do nothing all day long like me and then go play in the mud with others. Kingai's eyes were full of passion for struggle. I have to stay here and listen to Lord Zuling telling about the glorious deeds of the demon clan. I don't have time to cook dinner, so I'll leave boring things to you. Anyway, you even have time to play in the mud, so why do you care about such a small thing? After speaking, he continued to look at Ling Feng in front of him. Lord Zuling, please continue to tell me about the deeds of the demon clan in the past. What has this guy been through recently? Why did he suddenly become enlightened? Yin and Daisy walked to him curiously and observed Kingai carefully. Old man, what have you said to him recently? Why does he seem to have seen through the world and become an immortal? Nothing. I just saw that his thoughts were not firm some time ago, so I decided to educate him. During this period, I told him some inspirational stories of the demon race so that he could practice martial arts wholeheartedly for the rise of the demon race. Now it seems that the effect is very obvious. Yu and Daisy looked at him with disdain. Isn't this just verbal brainwashing? Why is it so high sounding? Okay, Kingai, don't listen to this old man. Yu and Daisy went over and grabbed him. Let's go and make dinner now. No, compared to eating, I hope I can have more time to practice. After saying that, Kingayu closed his eyes and practiced his demon power. Yu and Daisy didn't know what to say. Is this still the child he knew? It seems that he didn't pay attention to the other party's ideological education recently, and the soul-devouring monument took advantage of it. Although Yu and Daisy knew that the current situation was embarrassing, he still preferred to believe that people should do what they should do at their age. They can just bear the pressure from the gods, and let's give this child a healthy and happy childhood. Of course. Since he has decided to be with us, he must practice hard. This is also one of the concepts I have instilled in him recently. You have taught him a good child like this. Yu and Daisy raised his fist helplessly. It seems that I can only use my personality correction fist now. Ling Feng didn't take this move seriously at first, but when he felt the soul power surging from him, he became a little uneasy. Hey, what are you doing? I have finally instilled these concepts into his mind. The soul-devouring monument stood between them. Don't look for him. If you have any problems, come to me. If you have the guts. Too late. Look at my personality correction fist. Yu and Daisy punched Kingayu on the head, and the huge soul power hit Kingayu's sea of consciousness mercilessly. The soul power passed through the unprepared Kingayu, and then condensed into a label, and fell on the grass. It seems that my skills are pretty good. Yu and Daisy walked over, and picked it up. He must practice anytime and anywhere. Did you teach him? The old man nodded. Yes, otherwise I'm afraid that his strength can't keep up. Now he even practices when he sleeps. Isn't it good? By the way, what the hell is this thing of yours? At this time, Kingayu sat up, his eyes still dull, and began to practice boxing mechanically. This move does not cause much harm to the human body, but mainly impacts the soul, to achieve the ability to delete certain thoughts. It seems that I was too gentle, and the force was not strong enough. Yu and Daisy stood up again. I need to use a few more personality correction punches to beat him back to a normal person. Wait, when did you invent this magic? I have never taught you this rough way of using the soul. Sorry old man, this magic was created by me some time ago. Yu and Daisy took out the label and showed it to him. You can use your fists to knock out people's memories and thoughts, so as to correct their personality or clear their memories, but it can only be used on people with a large difference in mental strength, and who will not resist. How about it? Isn't it awesome? After saying that, the label on his hand suddenly turned into ash. This is the magic I created, after brainwashing them too much, and feeling something in my heart. Damn it, stop it. I worked so hard to instill these thoughts into him. Old man Ling was on the verge of collapse at this moment. How could this little bastard's talent be used against him? Can't you just practice in peace? It's too late. Look at my personality correction fist. Amid the old man's heartbreaking screams, the thoughts that were instilled some time ago were beaten out one by Yu and Daisy. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 574 Moon Viewing. Tsukino had no choice but to walk out of the back mountain. There were still a few pedestrians on the street at this time, and they didn't know what they were doing. Luca, where can we go now? It's impossible to go to the owner's house now. Mozo poked his head out from inside his coat. He hadn't seen the situation on Earth for 1,000 years, so he was naturally curious. I don't know either. Tsukino shook his head helplessly. The location in the back mountain is too dangerous. We can't go back. The two of them wandered aimlessly on the street. But today's moon was surprisingly round for some reason, which made Tsukino feel a little comforted. Unknowingly, Tsukino walked to the river. There were many children gathered together playing below, while the adults sat together to enjoy the moon and eat dumplings. Yeah, there seems to be a lot of delicious food there. Luca, let's go over there quickly. I have a way to get it. Mozo frantically pulled Luca's clothes. He was starving now, and had no chance to eat. There were always people watching him at the table, so he had no chance to eat the delicious looking food, which really made him depressed. I know, I can't do anything about you. Tsukino pressed down her baseball cap with her hand to prevent it from falling off. But let's make a promise in advance. You can't take too much. As she spoke, Tsukino walked down the nearby stairs, intending to find a place to sit down first. If you want to blend into the crowd, you must not stand out too much, and sitting down to admire the moon is undoubtedly a perfect excuse. After sitting down at a place where there were not too many people looking at the moon in the sky, Tsukino suddenly missed them a little. I wonder how they are doing on the moon now? The little turtle Mozo ran out. That's great. I decided to have you for my dinner. As soon as he finished speaking, a dumpling was missing from a lunchbox nearby, which had been taken away by Mozo. I'm very fast. You guys can't see it at all. Thank you for the treat. Mozo happily went to harvest the food, and Tsukino was not in a hurry. Anyway, there was still a lot of time. After these people left, he used Ether to pick up clay and made a small house here. He would just make do with it tonight. Now he could only wait here for Big Sister Luna to come and find him. Otherwise he would have to fly back by himself, which might take more than 10 days or even longer. A full 380,000 kilometers. This number is not a joke. Even if you can travel 10,000 miles a day, you will have to walk for a month. Sorry, can we sit here? Two children of the same age suddenly stood next to Tsukino. There are too many people around. There is no room. Yeah, no problem. Tsukino crossed her legs so that she would look better sitting this way. Thank you very much. The two sat next to Tsukino face to face, opened the package in their hands, and put it aside. Inside was a square box, and the other child took it and opened it. The box was full of tricolor dumplings. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. The child with glasses inserted the silver grass next to him as a way to ward off evil spirits. I knew you couldn't wait. After all, you like dumplings the most. Another child took out a few cans of juice and put them aside. The scene looked very harmonious. Seeing them like this, Tsukino felt even hungrier and began to look forward to Mozo bringing her something delicious later. When Tsukino was looking forward to her dinner, the kid with glasses next to her suddenly asked her, "Do you want to eat some too?" Are you talking about me? Tsukino pointed at herself in confusion. She didn't know these two people, so why did they share food with her for no reason? Moreover, the little change he had earned today was used to pay off his debts. Now he was penniless and had no money to buy food. That's right, good things should be shared. He put the dumplings in Luca's hand and invited him to come and eat. Then I'll be polite. Luca walked to the picnic blanket they had laid out and took a bite of the dumplings. The dumplings made of glutinous rice were very fragrant and soft, and they tasted very good when chewed. After chewing it several times, there was still a strange sweetness lingering in the mouth. After tasting the delicious food, Tsukino's guardedness disappeared a little. What are your names? Tsukino chatted with the two children while eating the dumplings. My name is Chuncheng, and his name is Dayoshi. Chuncheng picked up a can of watermelon juice and handed it to Tsukino and asked him, "What's your name?" "My name is Tsukino." The three of them chatted like this while the little turtle Mozo was still stealing snacks nearby. After he ate the fifth dumpling, that was almost the same size as his body, he finally lay on the ground and didn't move. I haven't eaten so full for a long time. Mozo snorted, looking very satisfied. Big Sister Luna is really something. She only knows how to limit my food intake, alas. Speaking of which, the moon is really round today. Dayoshi opened a can of juice. I wonder when I can see such a beautiful moon next time. Tsukino nodded silently. It turned out that this juice was drunk like this, and she learned it. He also imitated the sword servant and opened a can of juice. Yes, the moon is so beautiful today, it makes me miss home. Tsukino Luca, isn't your home here? Chuncheng probably understood why he had never seen this child before. Yes, it is. My home is very far away. Tsukino Luca pressed her hat and looked up at the moon in the sky, really far away. Looking at the moon reminds you of your hometown. Are you from China? Chuncheng immediately turned on the academic master mode. I heard from a friend that China uses the moon to express homesickness. Tsukino Luca was a little confused. China? What place is that? It's better not to talk. Don't make fun of me, Chuncheng. The name Tsukinolika doesn't sound like a Chinese. The sword servant put a dumpling into his mouth. You'd better eat your dumpling well, otherwise I'll eat it all. Ah, you are so cunning. This is a dumpling made by my mother. How can you eat it alone? Chuncheng immediately took the box from the sword servant's hand and placed the box between himself and Tsukinolika. Yes, your dumplings are indeed very delicious. Dayoshi didn't mind. The only ones who can surpass your mother in this respect are probably the rabbits on the moon, right? When Tsukinolika heard this, she suddenly felt hopeful again. Do people on Earth really believe that there are rabbits on the moon? Dayoshi, do you believe that there are rabbits on the moon? Tsukinolika looked at Dayoshi very seriously, expecting his answer. Of course we do. Chuncheng took over first. I'm looking forward to eating their dumplings. Hearing this, Tsukinolika suddenly laughed. It seems that there are people on Earth who believe in their existence. At least the children in front of them believe it. At this moment, Tsukinolika suddenly thought to herself, if the children believe in their existence, why not try to deal with these children first? Chapter 575 New Transfer Student. The next morning, Yu and Daisy woke up Kingayu who was still sleeping in. Really? Why did you suddenly become so lazy? It's all because of you. Yesterday you knocked down all his thoughts about diligence. Ling Feng got angry when he talked about this. It's okay, I can just knock down his thoughts about laziness now. Yu and Daisy stretched out his fist. Kingayu, stretch your head over here, I'll give you a buff. Kingayu immediately shrank under the bed. What a joke, this guy's definitely going to beat him to death. He rubbed his face. Obviously, his physique is stronger than Yu and Daisy, but the injury he got from being beaten by him last night has not healed yet. It can be seen how cruel this guy is. Okay, I'm just kidding. Yu and Daisy stretched out his hand and grabbed him. I'm going to school later. You can practice well by yourself. Kingayu breathed a sigh of relief and nodded quickly. As long as he didn't fight, everything would be fine. After leaving the room, Yu and Daisy ran into Chumushan on the road. Yinkei, let's go together. Actually, you don't need to say hello. We will walk together. There is only one way to school. Zio-shan came to the school with him. At this time, the place was still empty. Alas, those people who cleaned the floor yesterday were lazy again. Chumushan sighed and cleaned the floor with his mental power. I have to warn them. Yu and Daisy didn't care at all. Anyway, when they cleaned the floor, he always used magic to clean it thoroughly. After returning to his position and getting ready, Yu and Daisy suddenly realized that Chumushan's figure seemed to be a little thinner than before. Seeing this, Yu and Daisy asked, Yinkei, you seem to have lost a lot of weight recently. Are you worried about something? Ah, really? Dekisugi thought for a while. I've been doing well recently. You must have seen it wrong just now. Yu and Daisy saw that he didn't seem to be lying, so he didn't ask any more questions, but he believed that he was definitely not wrong. Their memory is now comparable to that of a camera. However, he just thought that it was the sequelae of Dekisugi's recent death that caused his body to be thin, and didn't think too much about it. Soon, the students came to the classroom one after another, and the teacher also walked into the classroom with a silver-haired boy. Stand up. Dekisugi immediately fulfilled his duties as the class monitor. Good morning, teacher. The students saluted with him. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. The teacher smiled and returned the salute, then pointed to the student next to him and said, today, a new student has transferred to our class. Come on, come up and introduce yourself. The teacher waved at Tsukinolika and asked him to introduce himself on the podium so that the students could quickly get to know him. At this time, Nobita had quietly come to the window outside the door, looking at the situation inside and sighed. Oh no, the morning meeting has already started. I'm late again. Tsukinolika walked to the podium, looked at the people below, and was a little nervous. My name is Tsukinolika. Please take care of me. The reason why he said it so simply was because he really didn't know what to say, not because of his cold personality. After all, he had lived with those familiar people for more than 1,000 years, and he was indeed a little overwhelmed when facing so many people he had never met. Nobita saw the boy in a baseball jacket outside the window. I seem to have seen him somewhere. By the way, it's the kid from yesterday afternoon. He immediately remembered that he didn't have time to say hello yesterday afternoon because of his sudden disappearance. And as he was lying on the table like a salted fish. What's going on? There is another transfer student? Why don't I know about it? In his impression, this transfer student did not appear in the normal plot and should be of the same nature as Lee Zinayu. Could it be that I did something to change the world line again and then let a descendant with superpowers come here? It's so hard for me. He began to think carefully about what he had done before, hoping to find out which unresolved issue was related. Fat Tiger and Sunia, who were sitting in front of him, were very unhappy. This guy looked down on others, and he was simply asking for a fight. Really, why is this guy pretending in front of me? He even wears a hat. Fat Tiger put one foot on the table, and it can be seen that he is very unhappy now. Sunia, who was next to him, immediately understood and deliberately made an exaggerated expression. That's right, I feel so annoying. You two guys stop arguing. It's class time now. Dekisugi's words made the two of them shut up. Although the two didn't know where Dekisugi's limit was, they only needed to know that Dekisugi could beat them easily now. Seeing that the people below were no longer noisy, the teacher also patted Tsukinolika on the shoulder. You go sit in the last row first. But Tsukinolika only saw the people in the classroom clearly. The two annoying guys were still very conspicuous, but he didn't care. But when he saw the salted fish lying on the table in the last row, he was a little uneasy. Isn't that guy the one who easily solved the terrifying beetle? Why is he here too? What bad luck. What's wrong with you? Is there something wrong? The teacher saw Tsukinolika standing still on the podium and thought that he didn't like the last row. No, I just want to see who is here. Tsukinolika quietly breathed a sigh of relief. At least the seat was not next to that person. It doesn't matter, everyone will know each other soon anyway. There is no rush at this moment. The teacher's smile remained unchanged. For a student who has just arrived in the class, we must give them enough tolerance so that they can quickly integrate into the group. If he is scolded now, then maybe other students will follow the teacher and laugh at and isolate the new students. Tsukinolika took a deep breath and walked to the last row, hoping that the child would not recognize him. Fat Tiger and Sunia looked at each other, saw the intention in each other's eyes, and the two of them tacitly stretched out their feet and placed them on the path that Tsukinolika must pass. The teacher also turned around and started writing today's course topic, so he didn't see this little action and naturally didn't blame them. Tsukinolika lowered his head and pressed the brim of his hat with his hand, ready to use his superpowers to teach these two troublemakers a lesson. To let them know that he is not someone who can be bullied. But when he was about to activate the ether, he suddenly saw the child behind him looking at him in a trance, and Tsukinolika immediately gave up this plan. What if this guy knew his identity? What if he caught him and ate him? Tsukinolika had to walk to their side and raised her foot to step over. The two of them suddenly became excited and raised their feet to trip him. But Tsukinolika was faster, and the raised foot suddenly stepped down quickly, guessing their feet together. Fat Tiger and Sunia immediately felt as if their feet were pressed by something heavy, and they couldn't lift them at all. Tsukinolika had a smile on her lips. They were rabbits, and the strength of the rabbit's hind legs should not be underestimated. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.